Part 53. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 537. Kurosawa Hikaru didn't go to Igarashi Runa's room to play for a while, but after helping Ninomiya Chizuru blow dry her hair, he directly pulled her over. Good girlfriends, one quilt. This is not as happy as imagined. Two beautiful girlfriends lying next to you, and you can't eat, it is undoubtedly a painful thing. In fact, Ninomiya Chizuru and Igarashi Runa were a little embarrassed at the beginning. Even if they are good girlfriends, they have a very good relationship, but when they really sleep together, they can't say anything for a while. But this silence didn't last long, it was broken, and they chatted happily. The two good girlfriends chatted from 9:30 p.m. to 11 p.m., saying that they wanted to go to bed, but they couldn't sleep at all. They were too excited. It was not until 1 a.m. that they had to go to bed because they had to work during the day. As for Kurosawa Hikaru, when he encountered some topics that could be talked about, he would interrupt and chat with them. After spending a whole night, the three of them slept in one bed, which was no longer so embarrassing. On Sunday, Kurosawa Hikaru spent time in the Chasing Wind dojo. He also seized the opportunity to talk to the maid. He told her about his needs, that is, he wanted to enter Shifunjayuan's future room to play for a few hours one day. Akai Sayaka was frightened by such a demand on the spot, and denied and refused without hesitation. However, Kurosawa Hikaru had already thought of a countermeasure, and persuaded her with reason by saying what can be done in 4 hours can also be done in 1 hour. Mr. Kurosawa, you want to be alone with the young lady in the Chasing Wind dojo, I can turn a blind eye and pretend not to see it, but you want to enter the young lady's room, this is impossible. Akai Sayaka felt that what he said made sense, but it was still very difficult, and she was only willing to take a step back. Why is it impossible? Kurosawa Hikaru saw that she still disagreed, and negotiated with her patiently. There are 15 surveillance cameras in the apartment, excluding private spaces such as rooms and bathrooms. It can be said that it is a full-range surveillance without blind spots. In this case, you will be discovered even if you walk up the stairs and want to go to the second floor, let alone enter the room. Akai Sayaka saw that he was not giving up, so she simply made it clear. Speaking of this, a helpless look appeared on her face. In the apartment, even her actions will be monitored. The eldest lady has no freedom, so is she, although the number of times and time she is monitored is not as much as the eldest lady. Ms. Sayaka, what is the reason why you are willing to pretend not to see it in the Chasing Wind dojo? Kurosawa Hikaru had expected this, and did not answer, but continued to ask. Because there is no surveillance here, as long as I don't say it, others don't know what you and the eldest lady did here. Akai Sayaka thought about it and answered. In fact, she still had something to say, that is, Kurosawa Hikaru and Sato Kyuden united front, this is the point. If it were someone else, it would be impossible to do whatever they want in the Chasing Wind dojo. This dojo has no surveillance, but there is a master, that is Sato Shinichi, who is the boss here. The most terrifying thing is that Sato Shinichi can talk directly with the old master of Shifunjayuan. In short, if you mess around in the Zufeng dojo without his consent, you will definitely die. What if, the surveillance in the apartment fails, and they can't see me enter the future room? Kurosawa Mitsuru did not rashly say it, but tried it in the name of hypothesis. You want to remove the surveillance. This is absolutely not possible. Even if one surveillance is broken, the person in charge of surveillance will contact me and ask me to report the situation, and will send someone to repair and replace it. And if you do this, it is equivalent to destroying private property, which is a serious problem. Akai Sayaka's face changed and she quickly stopped it. Although Mr. Kurosawa has been recognized by the old master, and has established a good relationship with the mistress through gifts, there is a bottom line even if the relationship is good. I didn't intend to demolish it violently. Do you think it's possible to hack the surveillance with the power of hackers? Play fake images for them? Impossible. Why? Although the hacker team hired by the Shifen family is not the world's top hackers, they are all world-class hackers. They have tailored a firewall system for the Shifen family. If you want to invade the electronic facilities of the Shifen family, the difficulty is not as difficult as invading a bank, but it is not much different. If I do it, can you turn a blind eye to my entering the future room? Kurosawa Hikaru was not surprised by this, but continued to induce her. The higher the status, the more afraid of death, and privacy issues are the top priority. The Shifen family is so rich, it is normal to hire a hacker team. No. However, even if he assumed this, Akai Sayaka still shook her head and refused without hesitation. Why? Such a firm attitude surprised Kurosawa Hikaru. If this matter is exposed, I will die. Akai Sayaka stood upright, with a solemn and serious look. It was different from the previous 2 times of covering up. One was in a house in the side yard of the Zukfeng dojo, and the other was in a hotel. There was no surveillance, only her as a human camera. As long as others couldn't read his mind, there would be no evidence. This time the occasion was in the apartment. If the hacker team discovered that the firewall had been breached and got Hikaru Kurosawa to enter the eldest lady's room and stay there for 4 hours, she would definitely die even if she was eloquent. She could rely on her previous 2 experiences to trust Mr. Kurosawa's character, and nothing would happen if he was alone with him. But what will others think when they find out about this? A man and a woman living together in the same room for 4 hours, this is the same nature and concept as watching a man and a woman enter a hotel and come out after 4 hours. What if it won't be exposed? Seeing her attitude, Kurosawa Hikaru became serious. There are not so many ifs, Mr. Kurosawa. When a plan is too risky, it is no longer a plan, but a gamble. Akai Sayaka shook her head, unmoved, and said coldly. Before this, she was willing to protect Mr. Kurosawa because she was attracted by the freedom he promised. When Mr. Kurosawa marries the eldest lady, she will not be completely free, but she will be relatively free. But this plan is too risky. Once exposed, the eldest lady and Mr. Kurosawa will be punished at most, but she will die, and she will die miserably. The risk is too great. Miss Sayaka, I will prove to you that this is not a big gamble and there is no risk. If I can't do it, just pretend that I didn't talk to you about what happened just now. Seeing that her attitude had become distant and cold, Kurosawa became aware, and after pondering, he said. He finally understood why the funds for the state were proficient hackers and there were no other rewards. Because it is impossible for an entry-level hacker to complete such an appointment. An entry-level hacker is equivalent to the level that an ordinary person can reach after a lifetime of hard work. Such a hacker is very powerful. It is easy for him to find out the information of any keyboard warrior on the internet. However, facing a world-class hacker team, this level is not enough, at least it must be proficient. Without the ability of a proficient hacker, it is simply impossible. Good. Sayaka Akai thought this was impossible, but seeing that his face was serious and not joking, she nodded after thinking about it. If someone else said this, she would only find it funny, or even sneer. But it's not necessarily impossible to believe what Mr. Kurosawa said. Because this man is incredible. Although she knew that he was very powerful, as if there was nothing he couldn't do, but this time the stakes were so important that she couldn't trust him blindly. At this point in the conversation, Kurosawa Hikaru went shooting archery with Shifen Jinmurai. Maybe watching YouTube videos together is entertainment, but shooting arrows together in the dojo is also very interesting. After having dinner and chatting with brother Shinichi, Kurosawa drove the Maybach home and parked the car in the private parking space in the apartment. He did not go back to the villa. Instead, he returned home, opened his laptop, and studied hacker intrusion into the surveillance system. The skill of hacking is quite buggy. Although the experience card is not permanent knowledge, it will be automatically activated when it comes into contact with electronic products such as mobile phones and computers. Once he has the idea of intrusion, relevant knowledge and concepts of operational procedures will automatically emerge. If you take the time to study it, even an experience card can be of great use. He wanted to write code and create a script that could invade surveillance and steal previous surveillance video data and overwrite it. His purpose is very simple, which is to show the video to the person responsible for watching the surveillance, so as to hide the truth. The most important thing is that there must be no mistakes or traces left, because once this matter is exposed, the consequences will be serious. Kurosawa sat in front of the computer, typing on the keyboard, making up codes, and repeated trial and error. From 8:26 p.m. until 5:30 a.m., he was finally done. Get it, this computer is so rubbish, I'll have to replace it later. Kurosawa shook his neck, stretched his muscles, glanced at the time, and couldn't help but sigh. Although the reward for hackers is that they can write code, the focus is different. They cannot play games or develop various software. Hackers' skills are all centered around intrusion and breaking through firewalls. For example, awareness of web security information, penetration-related tools, practical penetration operation methods, Windows command library, server security configuration, script programming, and most importantly, source code audit and vulnerability analysis. In fact, he didn't have to do much, just cover a few surveillance cameras, steal data, and play the footage. This was a very simple matter. But to be sure, he specially wrote a script that could automatically analyze the source code and vulnerabilities, penetrate them and run them. Perhaps it is normal for writing new scripts to take time, but in fact, he wasted a lot of time on the two steps of computer calculation speed and program running speed, as well as experience cards, unable to use rewards perfectly. His laptop has never been used for playing games. It is mainly used for making PPT, writing papers, and other academic purposes. The configuration is not very high. Just find time to crawl down the monitored firewall code and then run the actual operation. After studying for a while, Kurosawa sorted out his thoughts and went to take a shower. Before going to bed, he set an alarm clock for 8:30. Although he couldn't sleep for a few hours, he still planned to practice pairs skating with Miki Bayu. Among his 5 girlfriends, the one he spent the least time with was the school girl. Nothing special happened at the Wiwan skating rink. Maybe it was because the pair skating last time was so amazing that it gained a little bit of fame in the figure skating circle, so there were a lot more spectators this time. It's really Miki, is she going to switch to pairs skating? Her partner is so handsome. Which player is this? I don't know, I've never seen it before. Their synchronization rate is so high, how long have they been practicing? There are some spectators, even if they don't skate, who buy tickets to come in to watch the practice. Many viewers found it extremely refreshing, because Miki showed signs of coming back, and then there was her mysterious partner, which aroused curiosity. You know, in the world of figure skating, there are very few athletes who come out of nowhere. Most of the skaters with outstanding results and outstanding appearance became famous when they were young, and their figure skating careers are well tracked. However, Kurosawa Hikaru suddenly appeared in front of everyone as Miki Shiraba's partner. It is incredible that no one can recognize such a figure skater who is handsome, has outstanding temperament, is technically proficient, and has even developed a strong personal style. Among the many spectators, Miki Shiraha's friend, Nishikawa Miki, was also one of them. She came to the Wiwan skating rink after a long absence. She likes figure skating, but because she is not talented enough, she is only an amateur and has no plans to become a professional. Her focus is on studying and falling in love. Figure skating is just a hobby. Even if she has the idea to participate in figure skating competitions, she only wants to participate. When did Bayu and Kurosawa-senpai become partners? Miki Nishikawa felt confused when she saw the two intimate, dreamy, and elegant figures on the field. What's going on? She was just traveling with her boyfriend for half a month during the summer vacation, and when she came back, why couldn't she understand the current situation? Bayu is actually practicing pairs skating, didn't she say she wouldn't consider it? Kurosawa-senpai is so strong, isn't his level too high? Bayu saw Senior Kurosawa bringing the girls to the skating rink before, and he burst into tears at the end. They really knew each other before, and they have a story. After being confused, Miki Nishikawa's eyes lit up when she saw their practice. She was really impressed. She had given Bayu advice before. If he still wanted to stick to his figure skating career, switching to pairs skating would be a good choice. Because pairs skating requires very little jumping and puts a relatively light load on the knees, it can be practiced for a long time. The essential requirements for pairs skating are the physical coordination of the players, the strength of the muscles throughout the body, and the tacit understanding of the partners. That's right. It's not a waist injury, just a knee injury, which has little impact on pairs skating. But at that time, Bayu rejected her without hesitation and did not consider pair skating at all. At that time, she thought that Bayu didn't like to partner with men and have close contact, but now it seems that it's not that she doesn't like pairs skating, but that her partner in pairs skating must be Kurosawa-senpai. As a student of Tokyo University, her imagination and thinking speed are very strong. In no time, she imagined a bloody and classic love story. The two were childhood sweethearts who used to practice skating together. However, due to uncertainties such as moving, changing schools, and strange circumstances, they fell apart and missed it. After growing up, the two of them were admitted to Tokyo University by chance and without any agreement. However, because of past misses and misunderstandings, the two people still didn't recognize each other even though they knew they were in the same school. Until one day, Kurosawa-senpai fell in love. Because he was very good at skating, he brought his girlfriend to the skating rink. However, he accidentally met Miki Shiraba, who retired due to injury. Because Bayu was injured, even if he insisted on figure skating, he would no longer be as glorious as before. When he saw Kurosawa-senpai, he felt inferior and did not dare to recognize him, so he ran away immediately. After a period of love-hate entanglement in which you cried and you ran away from me, the two of them put aside their differences, walked onto the ice rink hand in hand, and decided to become professional pairs skaters. From childhood sweethearts to strangers, to meeting each other, settling their differences, and becoming partners and lovers. If they can achieve results in the competition, or even win the championship, it will be a good story in the figure skating world. Nishikawa Miki thought about it for a while, then she was very excited and looked forward to it. She firmly believes that these two people definitely practiced pairs skating together when they were children. Without such a past, it would be impossible to develop the tacit understanding and synchronization rate to such an extent in such a short period of time. This level is too high. In her opinion, it is not inferior to many professional pairs skating combinations. This is the first update, the story is moving towards the finale, the state is not very good, sorry. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 538. In the evening, Kurosawa Hikaru left the ice rink, took off his skates and changed into a pair of sneakers on a bench in the corridor. It's so hot. Even though his physical fitness was enhanced by various skills, he was sweating profusely after nearly half a day of practice. In pair skating, the most physically demanding person is undoubtedly the male player. Because Miki Shiraiha has just started, the dance steps of pair skating are still in the learning stage. In order to better guide Miki Shiraiha, he has consumed several times more physical strength. If you don't mind, Please use a tissue. Just then, a hand reached out. Hearing this voice, Kurosawa Hikaru looked up and found that it was a beautiful girl in her 20s, tall and curvy, who handed over a pack of new, unopened tissues. "No, thank you for your kindness." Seeing the pack of tissues she handed over, Kurosawa Hikaru smiled, bent down and took out a towel from his bag, and wiped the sweat off his face. Maybe he is not a professional athlete, but intense exercise will definitely make you sweat, so things like towels to wipe sweat and sports bottles are naturally indispensable. Your skating skills are amazing, the girl you partner with is also very beautiful. Is she your girlfriend? This beautiful girl is Miki Nishikawa, who clasped her hands together in admiration. Because she has been practicing figure skating and ballet since she was a child, she has a good figure and a good temperament, which adds a special charm to her already beautiful face. Yes. Kurosawa Hikaru had no impression of her and just thought she was here to chat up. In order to avoid trouble, he naturally nodded. What's more, Miki Shiraha was originally his girlfriend, so this is true. Really? After getting his affirmative answer, Miki Nishikawa was surprised and looked at him with shining eyes. As she guessed, during the time she went out traveling with her boyfriend, the misunderstanding between Shiraha and Senior Kurosawa was resolved, and their relationship was developing rapidly. As for what Bayu said at the beginning that she and Senior Kurosawa had never held hands, Nishikawa Miki had forgotten it all. After all, today, Bayu and Senior Kurosawa, let alone holding hands, hugged and lifted each other up, I don't know how many times. Really? Faced with her reaction, Kurosawa Mitsuru felt confused and nodded. In theory, if a girl who took the initiative to chat up a boy finds out that the boy already has a girlfriend, shouldn't she feel pity or disappointment? What does her reaction mean? After asking this, Nishikawa Miki stopped talking and stood aside to watch him. Finding her strange, Kurosawa Mitsuru didn't pay much attention to her, just wiped the sweat off, put the towel back into the bag, and then waited. Senior, I've kept you waiting for a long time. Not long after, Miki Bayu came over with a big bag on her back. She was slender and slim, wearing a white dress and carrying a big pink bag. She was petite and cute, and she was full of youth. Seeing this, Kurosawa Hikaru stood up decisively, picked up his bag and went to meet him. Miki? When did you return to Tokyo? Before he got closer, Miki Shiraha found the girl behind Kurosawa Hikaru and was very surprised. Shiraha, you didn't tell me that you were dating Kurosawa-senpai. Nishikawa Miki looked at her with some resentment. Although they met after college and have only known each other for more than half a year, because of their common interests, figure skating, their relationship and friendship progressed quickly. You misunderstood, Miki Shiraha was stunned when she heard this, glanced at Kurosawa Hikaru beside her, and immediately wanted to explain. She did date Kurosawa-senpai, but she was his fifth girlfriend. Kurosawa-senpai's girlfriend to the outside world is Miss Ichino's, and his other identity, the girlfriend of Master Zero Time, is teacher Ninomiya. As for her, she doesn't even have the qualifications to be public. However, she doesn't ask for any status, after all, she is not even a mistress, but a fifth. That's right, she didn't mention the relationship at all. Bayu, who is this? Kurosawa Mitsuru interrupted her before she could clarify. She is my friend, Nishikawa Miki. Miki Bayu realized that he didn't let her explain, and after a moment's pause, she introduced herself. Senior Kurosawa, I am also from Tokyo University. This is our first meeting. Please give me your advice. Miki Nishikawa formally greeted her by saying her name through her mouth. Is she the friend you mentioned before? Kurosawa Mitsuru seemed to have realized something, and he figured out her identity just now, and also remembered something. The second time he met Miki Bayu was at the Tokyo Bunkakaikan. The reason why Mickey Bayou walked alone and got lost at that time was because her friend walked with her boyfriend. Yes, that's her. Mickey Bayou nodded. She didn't have many friends at Tokyo University, and only Nishikawa Miki was one. After all, she had finally been admitted to Tokyo University, fulfilled her promise to her mother, and wanted to return to the ice rink. However, the school spirit of Tokyo University is to focus on academics. Everyone wants to study, and there are very few people who are interested in figure skating. She acted alone at first. Later, Nishikawa Miki recognized her as a player from Miki and took the initiative to come over to make friends. After a while, they became friends. Bayou, have you mentioned me to Senior Kurosawa? How did you say it? When Nishikawa Miki heard this, she immediately felt concerned. No matter who you are, you will care about what your friends say when they mention you to others. Praise for sex over friends. Miki Bayou thought for a while and replied. How could that be? You are slandering me, I am not focusing on sex over friends. When Nishikawa Miki heard this comment, she immediately became anxious and argued. The reason why she avoided letting her boyfriend see Bayou was because she was worried that her boyfriend would change his mind and fall in love with Bayou at first sight, pursue him crazily, bring trouble to Bayou, and even affect their friendship. She firmly believes in one thing, that is, Bayou is so beautiful that any man who sees her will definitely be unable to walk away. You're kidding. Seeing her anxious look, Miki Bayou shook his head in amusement. That's good. The reason why Senior has heard of you is because I met him by chance at the Tokyo Bunkakaikan. I mentioned to him that my friend and boyfriend made the first move. Aren't you just saying that I value sex over friends? Nishikawa Miki choked up when she heard this, and muttered as she felt unreasonable. In terms of behavior, what she did was indeed to prioritize sex over friends, abandoning her friends and leaving with her boyfriend first. Miki, I don't think you value sex over friends. Miki Bayou shook his head with a light smile. Sorry. Seeing her smiling face, Nishikawa Miki thought she was angry. After hesitating, she stopped defending and decisively admitted her mistake. What I have to admit is that I do value sex over friends. This was also the case during this time. She and her boyfriend left Tokyo for a trip. They stayed there for more than 10 days and only came back this morning. She returned home, put her luggage away, made some adjustments, and went to the Wiwan skating rink. She wanted to give Bayou a surprise and let her know that she was back. What she didn't expect was that Bayou gave her an even bigger surprise with a backhand, and directly chased down the #1 celebrity in Dongda University. Let's talk as we go, the skating rink is closing. Kurosawa Hikaru on the side reminded him when he saw that the time was almost there. The feeling of getting rewarded for your efforts is extremely wonderful. Because of this, they skated until it was almost closing time and then got off the ice rink. After changing clothes, shoes, and resting, most of the guests left and the restaurant became deserted. Only some staff were left doing daily finishing work and were about to get off work. In this regard, the two women naturally nodded in agreement. It would be bad if it delayed others from getting off work. When we walked out of the Wiwan skating rink and came outside, it was already dusk. Bayou, Senior Kurosawa, what happened to you these days? Nishikawa Miki endured it for a long time, and finally seized the opportunity and couldn't help but ask. When she came to the skating rink in the morning, she saw Shirou and Kurosawa-senpai dancing in pairs, not to mention how shocked she was. At noon, she originally wanted to go over and strike up a conversation, but after thinking about it, she always felt that she would disturb the two people's practice, so she simply ran out to have a meal alone and watched them all afternoon. She was really curious about what kind of love-hate entanglement happened between these two people. You know, Kurosawa-senpai has a girlfriend, and she is also a model with perfect looks, figure, and temperament. As a result, in less than half a month, the girlfriend changed directly. If she saw something like this happening to someone else on the internet, she would only think that it was a mistress who was on top, a couple of bad guys. But when the heroine was replaced by Mickey by Ha, she just felt that it was a match made in heaven. The long-distance love between the two people finally blossomed and bore fruit after years of tormenting each other. It's a bit complicated to say. Faced with this question, Mickey Bayu turned his head and looked at Kurosawa Hikaru beside him, not knowing how to answer. In fact, she didn't expect her senior to tell others that she was his girlfriend. Because when she made up her mind that it didn't matter even if she was a fifth girlfriend, she was already mentally prepared not to be made public. Just like when she met Misochino's friend, Yamamoto Daiki, even though the senior didn't introduce her as his girlfriend, she didn't feel sad. Instead, she felt guilty or even worried. If this comes to light, it will be hard for the senior to explain himself in front of Misochino's, and how he should behave in front of his friends. If that's the case, let's talk slowly. Bayu, how about going to your house to play in the evening? Miki Nishikawa had a smile on her lips and was not in a hurry at all. In her opinion, a lot of things definitely happened between Bayu and Kurosawa senpai, and it was normal for them not to be able to explain it in a few words. Tonight? Why not tomorrow? Miki Bayu was stunned when he heard this and declined politely. As she spoke, she couldn't help but look at Kurosawa Hikaru. She wasn't sure if the senior had any plans for the evening after dinner, but she was certain that if Miki was allowed to go to her house to play, the senior would definitely not be able to spend the night at her house. The senior is too busy and it is not easy to find time to spend with her. Okay, then tomorrow. Nishikawa Miki didn't force it, she nodded and agreed. However, she also noticed Bayu's evasive gaze. She has a boyfriend. She has been in love twice over the years since she was a child, and she knows a lot about things between men and women. Could it be that Bayu slept with Kurosawa senpai? But how long have they just been dating? Moreover, Kurosawa senpai had a girlfriend before, so at least it took a lot of time, right? No matter how fast the relationship progresses and how quickly the relationship heats up, it is too hasty to break through the last step in less than half a month. Although as a friend, Nishikawa Miki has two standards: she has no prejudice against Miki Bayu's coming from behind, and she even likes to see it. But calm down and think about it, Bayu must have met a scumbag and been played by him, right? She knew that when Miki Bayu was young, she devoted herself to figure skating. She retired due to injury when she was young and focused on her studies to get into Tokyo University. Although she was a 19-year-old girl, she had not been in love yet. Although Neon people have a very strange view on virginity, both boys and girls regard retaining virginity as a shame and shortcoming, and feel that it is a sign of being disliked. But her view is different. When it comes to love, feelings are the focus, and the physical relationship is secondary. This is why she automatically imagined that they were childhood sweethearts and beautified the matter of coming from behind for Bayu. In her opinion, Bayu's behavior of ascending to the throne is definitely not a mistress ascending to the throne, but a childhood sweetheart who has become a real person. Bayu, you are Bayu's Bai, not Bai for nothing. While thinking, Nishikawa Miki glanced at Miki Bayu again and said secretly, "How about having dinner together? I'll treat you." Thinking that Bayu had never been in love and that there was a possibility of her feelings being toyed with, Nishikawa Miki decided to help her friend keep a check on her and suggested. Gein skating rink is located in the center of Tokyo. The streets nearby are very prosperous. You don't need to take a car to go elsewhere for dinner. You can find many restaurants within walking distance. No, I'll just treat you. Kurosawa Hikaru doesn't have the ability to read minds, so he doesn't know what she is thinking, but he can tell that she has a good relationship with Bayu, and he also wants to have a good relationship with her. If you want to have a long-lasting relationship with your girlfriend, Establishing a good relationship with your girlfriend's best friend is an important step. Although he didn't have any substantial experience, he heard a lot about it. For example, many couples were broken up by the woman's best friend. I happened to meet him today, and he also wanted to know what kind of person this Nishikawa Miki was. How about that? It's my proposed treat. Nishikawa Miki was an unknown teacher, and she wanted to spend more time with him and test his character. She was already feeling guilty, so she was not willing to let him treat her. Moreover, the families of Dongda students are generally very good. Treating them to a meal is not worth mentioning. Neon's educational environment looks very relaxed on the surface, but in fact it is not. It can be said to be a world of ice and fire. People who do not participate in the role are carefree and carefree, singing the praises of their youth, while those who do role are particularly role-oriented and roll toward death. People go to higher places, and water stays in lower places. The better the family conditions are, the more emphasis is placed on education. For example, she has been attending private schools since she was a child to prepare for the classes from primary school to junior high school. You know, Neon attaches great importance to academic qualifications, because class consolidation in society is very serious. Without good academic qualifications, there is no way to achieve class transcendence. Life is basically easy to see at a glance. You said that you took care of her in many places. I wanted to thank you before. Let me treat you this time. If you want to reciprocate, you can treat me next time. However, Kurosawa Hikaru was not in the habit of asking others to treat him, let alone meeting him for the first time. Good. Seeing what he said, Nishikawa Miki couldn't refuse. Bayu, what do you want to eat? I can do anything, just follow the senior's arrangements. It's your treat, you can choose. Shall I choose? Kurosawa Hikaru thoughtfully led them forward step by step. I have to say, what to have for dinner is a big problem. If a boy is alone, he can get by with the instant noodles from the convenience store. But when you are with your girlfriend, you must not be too casual when eating. You must consider your girlfriend's experience, plus your girlfriend's best friends, so you have to choose carefully. If you don't know what to choose, why not go for a walk on the street? Seeing him lost in thought, Miki Nishikawa had a boyfriend after all and could see her distress. Good suggestion. Kurosawa Hikari, who was still worried about what to eat, agreed with this suggestion. It is worth mentioning that although the three of them were walking side by side, with Nishikawa Miki walking on the other side of Shirou, the direction of the team was led by Hikari Kurosawa, who walked a little faster. If you go to the street, go this way. With his agreement, Nishikawa Miki pointed in the other direction and reminded. I know it's inconvenient to carry 2 bags with you when eating. Let's go to the parking lot to put things away first. Kurosawa realized that she had misunderstood and explained. Although he doesn't come to this place often, he has been here a few times and knows a little about the area. I see, Kurosawa-senpai, have you bought a car? What kind of car is it? Nishikawa Miki was stunned for a moment, feeling a little embarrassed, and changed the subject curiously. Buying a car in Tokyo is not expensive. The difficulty lies in getting a license plate and buying a parking space. Many families buy cars, which are not even as expensive as parking spaces. Benz. Kurosawa nodded. Mercedes? You're really discerning. Miki Nishikawa's eyes lit up when she heard this model. Seeing her reaction, Miki Bayu smiled softly. She knew that Miki liked Mercedes-Benz very much, and she was planning to buy a Mercedes-Benz when she earned money from her job after graduation. It wasn't long before they walked into the parking lot. When Kurosawa Hikaru approached the Maybach, he took out the car key from his bag and unlocked it. As the lights came on, he walked forward. Kurosawa-senpai, is this your car? Seeing this, Nishikawa Miki was shocked and stunned. Going to the ending does not mean that it will be finished in a few chapters. There are still some necessary plots to write. The status is being adjusted. It should be restored to 2 updates starting tomorrow. Sorry. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 539. A good car can be seen at a glance. The more expensive the price, the higher the quality. This principle is vividly explained in the world of cars. Miki Nishikawa was stunned when she saw Hikaru Kurosawa putting the satchel in the trunk. Neon Man likes Mercedes-Benz very much, and she is particularly fond of Mercedes-Benz, so she can tell the style of this car at a glance. Yes. Facing her disbelieving look, Kurosawa Hikaru naturally felt very happy. He reached out to Miki Shiryu and took her bag and put it away. He has figured out that even luxury cars are meant to be driven. And he discovered one thing: even if he doesn't drive, he can't keep a low profile. His strength doesn't allow it. He is too handsome and will be noticed wherever he goes. Instead of taking the subway and being stared at by everyone, it would be better to drive directly, and there would be far fewer people who could see him directly. As for Miki Bayu, she had been shocked in the morning, and now she has adapted to it. You call Maybach a Mercedes-Benz? Nishikawa Miki was speechless and wanted to complain, but she didn't know where to start. Although she has never underestimated Kurosawa-senpai, after all, although this man may be a scumbag who plays with girls' feelings, he is really powerful. He is as handsome as a crown jewel, and his looks are no less impressive than those of celebrity idols. In addition, he is still a student at Dongda University, and he is also good at archery, even at the level of a national champion. This kind of boy is seen by many girls. He is completely the kind of male god you will never get in your lifetime. What's even more frightening is that he is also good at figure skating. She knew very well how attractive boys who were good at figure skating were to girls. This can be seen from Yuzuru Hanyu, who is known as the man on the ice is like jade, and the sun is unparalleled in the world. Isn't Maybach a Mercedes-Benz? Kurosawa Hikaru didn't quite understand this statement. Yes. Nishikawa Miki opened her mouth, unable to comment. Although Maybach is different from other models and has an independent name, it still bears the Mercedes-Benz logo and is known as the most expensive model of Mercedes-Benz. After putting away their luggage, they continued on their way, walking to the streets. Kurosawa-senpai, how did you get this car? Along the way, Nishikawa Miki came to her senses and couldn't help but ask. Although she couldn't tell the price of that Maybach with her naked eyes, she had a rough estimate in her mind, which was at least 80 million yen. She had been to Mercedes-Benz car shows before, but the Maybach, the most expensive one at the time, was inferior in appearance compared to this one. What kind of strength does it take to afford such an expensive car? Doesn't it mean that Kurosawa-senpai's family background is average? I have to go out to work and make money, so I have no time for entertainment and socializing. But Kurosawa Hikaru saw the excitement on her face, thought for a while and said. Although he did not buy this car, but was given to him as a gift by Ninomiya Chizuru, this car did not fall from the sky, and it would not be a lie to say that he bought it. And if the truth be told, it would be difficult to explain if it was given by someone else. In other words, he has finally seen how attractive luxury cars are to girls. Perhaps Nishikawa Miki's attitude towards him just now was not cold, but she was definitely not as adoring and excited as she is now. Even though there is no favorability system, he can clearly feel that Nishikawa Miki's favorability for him has skyrocketed. Dinner was very simple, mainly just a casual chat to get acquainted with each other for the first time. After dinner, Nishikawa Miki stopped being a light bulb and separated from them. However, she took a ride and experienced the taste of a top-notch luxury car. Finally turning off the light bulb, Kurosawa Hikaru drove to Miki's house. This time, he discovered a new function of top luxury cars, that is, the parking lot of the apartment will never stop you, but will directly let you go. Senior, wouldn't this be good? Finally returning home, Miki Bayu took off her shoes at the entrance and couldn't help but ask. What do you mean? Kurosawa Hikaru couldn't figure out what he was saying. There was no continuation of what he said. You are the one who told Miki that I am your girlfriend. Aren't you my girlfriend? Kurosawa Hikaru asked rhetorically. In fact, it was an accident to say that Bayu was his girlfriend. Because at first he thought Nishikawa Miki was here to strike up a conversation, so without much thought he declined using the excuse that he had a girlfriend. Having said that, even if he was exposed, he didn't really care. During the recent period, he and Miki Baiha would often practice at the Weiwan skating rink, and they would also participate in figure skating competitions in the future, so they would be seen sooner or later. Even if they don't say anything, it's only a matter of time before others speculate that they are a couple due to such an intimate sport as pairs skating. Yes, but Miki may spread the word. When school starts, everyone may know about our relationship. Miki Bayu was very worried about this matter. She had no idea about making it public. After all, she just knew that she was dating her senior. You know it if you know it. It's just time to let everyone know that you are a married woman and you are no longer single. Seeing her worried look, Kurosawa Hikaru walked forward and hugged her slender body. With Bayu's good looks, she is very popular in Dongda University. She is known as the campus beauty and probably has many suitors on weekdays. But Miki Bayu has many concerns. In her opinion, although Mr. Ninomiya left Tokyo University, he was still connected to Tokyo University. That was why she was not sure if anything bad would happen if Mr. Ninomiya knew about her relationship with her senior. Don't worry, I know my limits, let's not talk about this. I sweated a lot today. Let's take a shower. Kurosawa Hikaru did not dwell on this topic, but pushed her butt with his hand and gently pushed her onto the corridor. I have to say that Miki Shiraha's figure is really graceful. Maybe she is very slender, not the type with a protruding front and a curved back, but she feels like a little bird. Especially her little butt, which gives people a very fresh feeling and a different taste. Shall we take a shower together? When her butt was suddenly pushed, Miki Shiraha's little face suddenly turned red, and she turned her head to look at him. I sweated a lot while skating today. Although I wiped it with a towel and went to the bathroom to rinse it during the period, there were still too few places to wash. It was indeed time to take a shower. Of course. This glance back really touched Kurosawa Hikaru's heartstrings, and he nodded. Last night, he was hugged by both sides and could not do anything, which made him accumulate a lot of resentment. Today, he practiced pair skating with Bayu, and there were many inevitable physical contacts, which he could not bear. After the matter was settled, the two of them stepped into the corridor together and went straight to the room. He came to visit at home, and Miki Bayu naturally lined up to welcome him. Faced with her enthusiasm, Kurosawa Hikaru was also generous in giving her all and giving her a big gift. At night in Tokyo, every household was brightly lit. A villa turned off the lights early, leaving only the bedroom lights. It was only 10 o'clock in the evening, and Ninomiya Chizuru had already finished her bath. She was sitting at the desk in a nightgown, facing the laptop. However, she was not working, but surfing the internet. She rarely surfed the internet before, but since Kurosawa Hikaru became an artist, she started playing Twitter and YouTube. Because these two platforms have gathered a large number of fans at zero time, the discussion is very high, and many people will comment on her, Adilina. Fortunately, most of them are praises, and the people who read them are happy. As for some negative comments that are against everything and like to find fault with everything, when she sees them, they are basically criticized by fans as idiots. That's right, every time she sees negative comments, she gets angry at first, but when she sees everyone scolding that person, she feels very happy. What are you doing? After a while, the bathroom door not far away was opened, and Igarashi Runa came out with a towel wiping her short hair. In the hot summer, although she was in an air-conditioned room, she was also wearing a cool suspender nightgown. Her skin was as white as cream, her breasts were as white as a valley, and her breasts were full and well-proportioned, hot, and sexy. Browsing Twitter, your figure is too sexy, no wonder Kurosawa stayed at your house for several nights. Ninomiya Chizuru finally waited until she finished taking a shower, looked up, and couldn't help but smack her lips. Although they have been friends for more than 20 years, they lived together for a long time after graduating from college and often slept together. But even so, every time she saw Igarashi Runa's figure, she still felt that she was dwarfed by him. You are sitting on a treasure mountain without knowing it. If you use your long legs to seduce, Kurosawa's soul will probably be hooked by you. Igarashi Runa always felt that what she said was weird, rolled her eyes at her, and fought back. Sitting at the desk, Ninomiya Chizuru had a big chest, a thin waist, wide hips, and plump and long thighs. The graceful waist and hip line, as well as the straight and white long legs, even she, a woman, felt pleasing to the eye. This is natural beauty, which others can't envy, because Chizuru is a weak chicken, usually doesn't do much fitness, at most she just runs, but she has such a good figure. How is it possible? In addition to us, he has 2 girlfriends to accompany him, and now I don't know who he is with. Ninomiya Chizuru was a little shy when she said that, and then she held the mouse and hummed while browsing Twitter. Do you miss him? If you miss him, call him. If you say you miss him, he will fly back immediately even if he is in a foreign country. Igarashi Runa walked to the dressing table, picked up the hair dryer, and also encouraged her. As a good girlfriend, she knows Chizuru's personality too well. She is cold on the outside and warm on the inside, very arrogant. This kind of personality, if she acts like a spoiled child, the lethality is extremely terrible, and Kurosawa will definitely not be able to stand it. You miss him, right? Ninomiya Chizuru is very smart, knowing that she wants to use herself as a gun, and squinted at her. Yeah, call him and call him back to sleep together. Igarashi Runa was not afraid to admit that Kurosawa Hikaru did not stay at the villa last night. They talked heart to heart and exchanged experiences all night. Let's talk about it tomorrow. He is in the bed of another woman right now. Don't disturb their fun. So considerate. Igarashi Runa looked at her in surprise. This is called I don't move if the enemy doesn't move. Kurosawa is with other girls, and I don't call him, so I don't disturb them. Then when Kurosawa is with us, others won't disturb us. Ninomiya Chizuru rolled her eyes at her. What does this have to do with being sensible? This is about knowing the big picture. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 540. The night was getting late. After Igarashi Runa dried her hair, they ran to the bed and lay down. Unlike before, where Kurosawa Hikaru was lying in the middle, they were sleeping close to each other, but not right next to each other. 2 best friends were lying on the same bed, and it was impossible to go to bed early. Runa, don't just think about egging me on. If you miss him, tell him. Kurosawa has 4 girlfriends. Logically speaking, they should be divided into 4. We must give full play to our greatest advantages. Accounting for 1/2. Ninomiya Chizuru thought of what happened just now and warned. Let me try. Igarashi Runa paused after hearing this, and nodded after hesitation. Don't be so hesitant in doing things, be decisive, Send him a message tomorrow and ask him to come over. Seeing her hesitation, Ninomiya Chizuru directly helped her make the decision. Maybe she can't help with housework, but in terms of intelligence, she is much better than Runa. It's useless for him to come here. You're the one here. I came, but you didn't come. Ninomiya Chizuru didn't care about this. In her opinion, it was definitely better for Kurosawa to spend the night in Runa's room than to stay outside. Good. Igarashi Runa's mind was very delicate. After thinking about it, he nodded. The night before yesterday, Kurosawa was probably in trouble and didn't dare to play in Chizuru's room in front of her. This problem must be solved. How can you see a rainbow without going through wind and rain? Although she and Kins are sisters and have a deep relationship, they still need to work hard if they want three people to sleep together. The morning sunlight penetrated into the house through the gaps in the curtains. In the dimly lit room, on the bed, a white-haired girl lay sideways, curled up. Eyelashes trembling like cattail leaf fans, Mickey Bio suddenly opened his eyes. Is the senior leaving again? Suddenly waking up, Mickey Bio saw that there was no one around him, and then looked up at the dimly lit room. There seemed to be an empty space in his heart, and he said to himself as if he was lost. Although she didn't say anything, she knew that the senior was very busy and had 4 girlfriends besides her. But as a girl majoring in literature, she is more emotional and pursues romance. Rather than hugging each other to sleep, she wanted to see her senior and hug him as soon as she got up every day. You can see him when you open your eyes and kiss him. Days like that make me feel happy just thinking about them. Although she was depressed, she still got up and went to the toilet. Should I tell my senior next time and wait until I wake up before leaving? But wouldn't this be too greedy? I don't know if the senior is like this when he is with other people. Sitting on the toilet, Mickey Bio sighed, feeling very depressed. She felt that she was so bad and so ungrateful. The senior stayed with her all day last night. Except for going to the bathroom, the two of them were inseparable even when taking a shower. They were like glue and wanted to be together every second. I was obviously very happy yesterday, but it turned out that I was unhappy because I didn't see my senior when I woke up this morning. In her wild thoughts, she solved her 3 urgent needs, washed her hands, returned to the room and walked towards the window sill. I don't know what time it is, maybe I slept in, so the senior left before I woke up. After all, he is very busy. While Mickey Bio was mumbling to himself, he also opened the curtains. The curtains no longer blocked the room, and bright light suddenly filled the entire room. Immediately, she turned around and looked at the clock and saw that it was 8:12. I went to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning last night and woke up at this time. I woke up very early. Before she could make any further moves, her peripheral vision suddenly glanced at a mobile phone placed on the desk beside her. Is this the senior's cell phone? Did he forget to take it away? Mickey Bio noticed this and walked forward to get it in his hand. He was very surprised. No, the senior may not have left yet. The next moment, she reacted. Because people easily lose their wallets and keys, but rarely lose their mobile phones. Thinking of this possibility, she took her phone and ran. After walking out of the bedroom, she looked around, but the room was still empty. Maybe she couldn't find anyone, but she heard movement in the kitchen and smelled a very fragrant smell. Upon realizing this, her heartbeat accelerated uncontrollably, and then she walked over step by step. When she came to the kitchen, she peeked out secretly and saw the figure in front of the stove. It was clearly Senior Kurosawa, standing there holding a spatula. He didn't leave this time. Seeing this scene, Mickey Bio's blue eyes widened and he was filled with joy. Why did you wake up so early? Kurosawa Hikaru had long heard her opening the door and coming out of the room. Looking back, he saw her sticking out her head and peeking at him, feeling a little helpless. Senior, you are the one, What are you doing? The corners of Mickey Bio's lips curved into a smile, and he snickered. The feeling of regaining something lost makes it easier for people to feel happy. She originally thought that the senior had left, just like last time, but this time she was too tired to notice. Unexpectedly, the senior just got up, but did not leave, but was in the kitchen. I'm making breakfast for you. You worked so hard yesterday, so I have to give you a good supplement. Kurosawa raised the spatula in his hand and said matter-of-factly. He originally thought that Baiyu would sleep until at least 9 o'clock, because he trained all day at the skating rink yesterday, and worked hard last night, and did not go to bed until 2 o'clock in the morning. But now it seems that he still underestimates the biological clock. This thing is really unreasonable. It's a pity, he still wants to make breakfast, go back to the room, lie on the bed, hug her, give her a good morning kiss, and give her a surprise. Senior, can you still make breakfast? Although Mickey Baiyu made the final breakthrough and changed from a girl to a woman, her thoughts were still relatively pure. She didn't understand the pronunciation of his words and just found it incredible. She grew up in a rather special environment. When she was young, she devoted herself to practicing skating. In high school, in order to fulfill the agreement with her mother, she devoted herself to studying. In addition, she was too beautiful, making people jealous, had few friends, and did not like too many dirty jokes. The concept of. As for Nishikawa Miki, although she is an old Siji, she would not try to lead her into trouble. It's not difficult to make breakfast, go wash up, breakfast will be ready soon. Kurosawa Hikaru didn't say that his cooking skills were very high, he just said warmly. When getting along with girls, instead of talking about your strengths, it will be better to show them unintentionally. Mickey Baiyu nodded obediently, then turned and left. Senior, your cell phone. However, just after she left for a while, she turned back and placed a mobile phone in a clean space next to the stove. Seeing his cell phone, Kurosawa Hikaru smiled and then continued making breakfast. He deliberately left his phone there, just to prevent Baiyu from suddenly waking up and finding that he was not there, thinking that he was gone. Last time, he had to leave early in the morning because of an appointment with Sister Kinhee. This time, if he had time, he would definitely stay with Mickey Baiyu until the afternoon. There are some ingredients in the refrigerator in the kitchen. I think this girl probably cooks occasionally. After all, as a college student and living alone, I definitely need to learn life skills such as cooking. Not long after, Kurosawa Hikaru, who had made breakfast, brought plates of breakfast to the dining table and sat down to wait. Girls' washing is more troublesome than boys'. It's not just as simple as washing their faces and brushing their teeth, but also changing clothes and combing their hair. Click. Finally, the bedroom door was opened, and Mickey Baiyu came out. She was wearing a white dress as always. Although she was elegantly dressed, her delicate and beautiful face was already indescribably beautiful without makeup. Her arms are as white as jade, her slender and straight legs are beautiful, and her jade feet are wearing slippers under the skirt. She looks pure and charming, and a bit delicate and cute, giving people the feeling of a good girl. Day and night are really two different things. Seeing how well behaved she was, Kurosawa Hikaru couldn't help but think. Senior, this is too rich. Under his silent gaze, Mickey Baiyu came to the dining table with some embarrassment. When he saw the breakfast placed on the table, he was immediately shocked. What was placed on her side was a portion of rice, golden egg rolls, ham scrambled eggs, and a bowl of miso soup. There are not many such dishes, but they are quite rich for breakfast. The key is to cook soup and rice, and egg rolls are also a time-consuming and labor-intensive delicacy. How can this be considered rich? There are not many ingredients in the refrigerator, so we can only use local ingredients from the refrigerator. Are you hungry? Try it. Kurosawa Hikaru smiled and pulled up the chair next to him. If he hadn't been short of time, he would have gone to the supermarket to buy more ingredients and give her a good replenishment. Because it was the first time they slept together in the same room before, he left before dawn and was unable to accompany her. Kurosawa Hikaru felt that he had let her down and no amount could be too much for her. Thanks. When Miki Bayu saw him pulling out a chair for her, he naturally sat next to her. I'm gonna start now. Seeing that she sat down and made no move, Kurosawa Hikaru picked up the chopsticks and started the meal ceremony. I'm gonna start now. Seeing his movements, Miki Bayu naturally followed. This sentence seems to contain magic power, making people no longer cautious. Senior, this egg roll is delicious, you even rolled it with bacon. Miki Bayu first put a mouthful of rice into his mouth, then picked up a piece of egg roll and put it into his mouth. He chewed it a few times and was immediately shocked. Egg rolls are already a troublesome delicacy to make, but my senior also rolled them with 2 layers of bacon. The texture is rich and the taste is great. How much time does this take? As long as it's delicious. Kurosawa Hikaru was very satisfied when he saw her reaction. After spending time and effort preparing a meal, the best reward is the delicious and happy emotion of the person eating it. Senior, please try it too, it's really delicious. Looking at his doting eyes, Miki Bayu felt like her heart melted. When she found that he didn't move, she touched him slightly with her arm. Touched by her cold and smooth jade arms, Kurosawa also picked up a piece of egg roll and started eating it. Maybe he is an athlete and consumes a lot of energy every day. This girl is a good eater, so the breakfast he made was quite generous. He didn't know much about Bayu, but he still knew that this girl liked egg rolls. He saw her ordering them when he went to a breakfast restaurant last time. 2 more to come. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 541. 2 people were sitting at the dining table, eating and chatting. Around the topic of pairs skating, they seemed to have endless things to talk about. Shared interests and hobbies can give rise to unlimited fantastic ideas. Kurosawa Hikaru was in a happy mood and finished his breakfast soon. What's wrong? Don't you have an appetite? At this moment, Kurosawa Hikaru was a little surprised to find that Miki Shiraha had only eaten less than half of his breakfast. This breakfast, because there are few ingredients, does not have many varieties. Even so, with his proficiency in Japanese food, the breakfast he made was still very delicious. I have an appetite. Sorry, I forgot to eat. Miki Bayu glanced at the dinner plates in front of him, they were all clean, he paused and said. After saying that, she lowered her head, took the chopsticks, and ate faster. In fact, it's not that she has no appetite, nor does she think breakfast is not delicious, it's just that she enjoys this time and doesn't want it to end so soon. In her opinion, the senior will leave after breakfast. She knew she couldn't be too greedy. After all, her senior had been with her all day, she had other girlfriends to accompany her, and she also had work to do. But knowing this, she still couldn't help but be greedy, even if it meant staying a little longer. Eat quickly. After we finish eating, we will go back to sleep. We woke up so early and haven't had enough sleep yet. Seeing her sudden depression, Kurosawa Hikaru noticed it and spoke out. We? Senior, are you going to go back to sleep later? Miki Bayu was stunned when he heard this, raised his head, and looked at him in astonishment. I went to bed at 2 o'clock last night, but I woke up at around 7 o'clock. I only slept for this little time, and I had to make up for it. You are the same, you slept too little. Kurosawa Hikaru stretched out his hand on her head and touched it gently. The long white hair looks like a white galaxy, like a work of art, and feels soft and smooth. It feels wonderful, like the best silk in the world. Senior, don't you have to work? Miki Bayu looked sideways at him, his eyes shining with great surprise. "I don't have to go to work until this afternoon." Kurosawa Hikaru noticed that her eyes were shining and she looked very happy. He nodded slightly and touched her head more gently. Mickey Bayu received the answer and confirmed that he was not leaving after breakfast. He nodded and started eating quickly. However, just after she ate for a while, her speed suddenly slowed down again. "What's wrong?" Kurosawa Hikari was a little puzzled when he saw her stop again. "Fine." Mickey Bayu's pretty face turned slightly red, and she shook her head in embarrassment. She changed her movements and became ladylike and elegant, eating slowly in small bites. She suddenly realized what she was doing was so rude and embarrassing. Although her movements were slowed down, the speed at which she destroyed the food was not slow. "Does she like to eat?" Kurosawa put his elbows on the table, cupped his cheeks, and looked sideways at her eating breakfast, and discovered something else. In terms of appetite alone, this girl is really a foodie. "I have been an athlete since I was a child. This is normal. Long-term, high-intensity exercise requires a lot of energy support." After noticing this, Kurosawa Hikaru decided to make her a sumptuous lunch next time he went skating with her. After a while, breakfast was taken care of. Kurosawa Hikaru put away the dishes, walked into the kitchen, and began to do the final cleaning work. "Senior, I'll wash it." Mickey Bayu, who had eaten and drank enough, followed him into the kitchen and came to his side, wanting to do his part. She didn't think too much about it. For example, the world's top pianist couldn't do housework. She just wanted to divide the work and cooperate and couldn't just watch from the side. "You just finished eating, go and take a rest." However, Kurosawa Hikaru pushed her out of the kitchen with a backhand. "You've made breakfast, it's my turn." Mickey Bayu refused to leave and wanted to go into the kitchen. "I'll let you come next time." For Kurosawa Hikaru, it was enough for Bayu to have this intention. Although he is not his wife yet, if he doesn't pamper his girlfriend, why should he let others pamper her? "Then I'll watch you wash." Mickey Bayu found that he had to refuse to let her come, so she could only compromise. "Okay." Hearing this, Kurosawa Hikaru reacted and nodded. From this point of view, she simply wants to be clingy and want to be with him. Is it because of age? Young girls are more clingy and feel that being with the person they like is a very happy thing. Xiaoyuki is like this, the future is like this, Bayu is like this, but the way of expression is different. In comparison, Chizurune and Runane may be older and more mature, so they are not so clingy. There is no technical content in washing dishes. Even a 5-year-old child can do it by bringing a stool to increase the height. "Senior, your cooking skills are so high. Do you often cook at home?" Mickey Bayu put his hands behind his back and looked over at him washing the dishes, and asked curiously. The breakfast just now was simple but delicious. In terms of taste alone, she thinks it is better than other restaurants outside. You can't just keep eating fast food and teach yourself. Kurosawa didn't deny it and smiled. After he came to Tokyo, except for lunch in the school cafeteria and dinner at work, he did often cook at other times. After all, it doesn't take much time to eat alone, and it's quick to make. You can do so well even if you teach yourself. Senior, you are really a cooking genius. Mickey Bayu was really shocked and sighed. As a genius in the field of figure skating, she understands the role of talent very well. Because all the players her age were left behind by her, and no one could keep up with her training progress. The time she spent learning the same figure skating steps was several times less than that of other outstanding students. For example, it takes others a month to learn a dance step, but she can go from basic to proficient, or even completely mastered, in a week at most. She has been hailed as a genius since she was a child, but now she suddenly realizes that her senior is much better than her. The level of piano, kyudo, skating, and even cooking is so high. The senior is definitely the most powerful genius she has ever encountered. No man doesn't like praise, especially praise and adoration from a beautiful and outstanding member of the opposite sex. Faced with her compliments, Kurosawa Hikaru felt only physical and mental pleasure. It was just a meal, and the dishes and chopsticks for breakfast were all cleaned up in a short time. After settling this matter, the two of them went back to the room. It was said that they were going back to sleep, but when they came to the bed, the two of them were hugging each other. "You just woke up and didn't see me. Were you scared?" The curtains were wide open and the sun was shining brightly. Kurosawa Hikaru hugged Miki Shiryu and said warmly, "I thought you left again." Miki Bio leaned sideways in his arms, very infatuated, confiding his heart. His voice was soft, like a young animal. "I'm sorry. I really couldn't help it last time. I had to leave for something. This won't happen again." Kurosawa raised his hand and touched her smooth and delicate face, and said softly, "Although Baiyu didn't complain a word about him leaving before dawn, he just broke his teeth and swallowed it without showing his grievances. When encountering something like this, even the strongest girl will definitely be hurt." Miki Bio lay in his arms, sniffing his scent and chin slightly. It was not the smell of perfume, but a very natural fragrance, which made her extremely fascinated. The two people cuddled together, hugged each other, and chatted with each other. "Senior, it's too bright outside, why not close the curtains?" After chatting like this for about an hour, Miki Bio's mind became a little restless when he was alone, like a cat that bumped into Xiao Yugan. You know the taste of food, and people are greedy. How can they be satisfied just by hugging each other? She knew that the senior was too busy to find time to spend with her. "After we separate today, we won't be able to see each other for at least a few days. Kurosawa naturally understands how to draw the curtains to make things easier." "Good." Kurosawa Hikaru heard her subtext, looked down at her young, cute, and beautiful face, and nodded. In terms of age alone, Baiyu is actually the third among his 5 girlfriends. After all, he is 19 years old. However, in appearance, Baiyu seems to be the youngest. First of all, her appearance is in line with the standard of Baiyu, as if she is about 16 years old. The key is that her height is not very outstanding, she is relatively small, and she has a Lolita feel. Wow! After closing the curtains, the two of them lay on the bed, eyes wide open, and when their hearts beat faster, they finally kissed together under the guidance of the ambiguous atmosphere. "I said I wanted to go back to sleep, but I couldn't fall asleep all morning." At noon, they went to a nearby supermarket to buy some ingredients. After going home and making lunch, they said they were going to take a nap. "But I couldn't fall asleep during my nap, so I closed the door and drew the curtains to do my work." It was not until around 3 o'clock in the afternoon that Kurosawa Hikaru left Miki's house because he had to work after 4 o'clock, and drove home to take a shower and change clothes. In addition, he also copied a script on his mobile phone. The script he installed on his phone was not for intrusion, but for marking and recording IP addresses. With the level and technology of a proficient hacker, even if he has an experience card, it is actually easy for him to invade the surveillance of a luxury apartment. However, in the case of the experience card, since it is not supported by permanent knowledge and experience, if he wants to be foolproof and seamless without leaving any flaws or traces, he must make a decision before acting and act with caution. Just like last time, he arrived at the apartment before 4 o'clock. While Sifan Yuan was still taking other tutoring classes in the future, he sat in the living room and played with his mobile phone. Because of the anti-peep screen, he didn't need to worry too much about the angle. After a few operations, he quickly locked the surveillance in the apartment. After Kurosawa Hikaru operated it, he discovered that the level of network protection in this apartment was not generally high. There are 18 cameras, distributed crosswise. If you want to hack the cameras, steal the previous recordings and overwrite them, and play the recordings to the people in the monitoring room, you must invade 3 lands. It is impossible for an entry-level hacker to break into the surveillance system of this apartment, even if it is a permanent reward. Only proficient hackers can fight. This mission is difficult enough. Upon realizing this, Kurosawa Hikaru couldn't help but mutter to himself. Through the script, he realized the difficulty of hacking into the surveillance system. Kurosawa Hikaru suddenly found that his date with the future was difficult in every sense. Obviously, other girls' dates are very easy, but every time they meet with the future, it is very difficult. Because he has to find a way to fulfill the agreement and meet the future at the corresponding place, which is the most difficult thing. The first date was at Zuifen Dojo, and the difficulty was revealed at that time. Zuifen Dojo is a private place, and he spent a lot of effort to enter the dojo at that time. For example, I went to a Kyoto club to experience joining the club. I was favored by the coach and relied on the coach's recommendation to get in. The second date was at Zuifen Dojo, but he had to convince the maid to give him half an hour to be alone with Mirai. The third date was at the beach, which was the elopement not long ago. And for the fourth date, now, he had to get the surveillance done, and he had to convince the maid to turn enemies into friends in order to realize their secret meeting in the boudoir. Fortunately, the time limit of the task is 1 month, so we can consider it in the long term, and the higher the difficulty, the greater the reward. Although there were many difficulties, Kurosawa Hikaru didn't pay too much attention to it. Instead, he aroused the desire to win. After overcoming difficulties and successfully dating the future, the rewards will be generous every time. Both system rewards and future rewards are great. After recording the 3 lands, Kurosawa Hikaru did not rush to do anything. In his spare time, he also saw lines information. Igarashi Runa, do you have any plans tonight? Looking for you. Kurosawa Hikaru was stunned for a moment when he saw this message. He couldn't help but touch his lower back and replied. Judging from what happened last time, we should sleep together peacefully tonight. It doesn't matter even if we lost everything with Bayu in the morning and just now. Because the secret boudoir session with the future was still in the preparation stage, nothing special happened during the tutoring class. For most people, there is daily time, and not every day can have something special happen. The tutoring session ended at 10:30 p.m., and Kurosawa drove straight to the villa. Ding. Drive the car into the underground garage, take the elevator to the first floor, and with the sound of the door opening, the elevator door opens. After officially entering the villa, Kurosawa Hikaru saw that the lights on the first floor were very bright, and there were 2 people waiting for him at the elevator entrance. Why are you all here? When he returned home, it was no longer pitch dark, but brightly lit. Kurosawa immediately smiled. Waiting for you to come back. Igarashi Ryuyuna said with a smile. She had already finished taking a bath, her hair was falling, and her whole body seemed to be exuding fragrance, like a ripe peach, dignified and charming. She wore a suspender nightgown with lace design. This kind of nightgown is actually very common, but the dress is too small and cannot wrap around her body. The uneven shape makes people's mouth go dry. Thanks for the effort. Chizuru Ninomiya is wearing a set of dark blue summer short-sleeved pajamas. She has blue hair with a high hairpin and a slender neck. She looks cold and intellectual, and her voice is clear and magnetic, which is extremely pleasant to the ears. In fact, when she was a teacher at Tokyo University, the reason why she was so popular in every class was not only because of her beauty, but also because of her pleasant voice. I'm back. Facing their enthusiastic reception, Kurosawa paused for a few seconds and then said, Humans are social creatures. If you live alone in this world for a long time, you will feel very lonely. That's why everyone in this world pursues 2 things throughout their lives. One is a sense of identity and the other is a sense of belonging. The biggest benefit of starting a family is the sense of belonging. Having your own family, after working hard outside, there is someone waiting for you when you come home. Come out quickly, the elevator will close automatically. Seeing his shy smile, which seemed a little uncomfortable, Ninomiya Chizuru's lips showed a faint smile. Seeing this, Kurosawa Hikaru quickly walked out. Are you hungry? I made a midnight snack. Igarashi Runa asked after stepping out of the elevator. I'm hungry, what's for a midnight snack? Kurosawa Hikaru was actually not hungry at all, but since Runa-san had done everything, he couldn't live up to her hard work. Even though it was just before 11 o'clock, it was impossible for the three of them to get to bed early, and even chatting would last until 1-2 o'clock in the morning. Fried chicken, fried pork chops, grilled eel, chicken cartilage. Igarashi Runa grabbed his hand and led him to the restaurant. This villa is very large, and naturally the various areas are clearly divided. The dining table is no longer placed in the living room, but in the dining room. Is this a late-night snack or a drink? Kurosawa Hikaru couldn't help laughing when he heard these dishes. These are all dishes that go with drinks. If you don't drink alcohol, eating these things will be simply boring. Drink whatever you want. Igarashi Runa is not a heavy drinker, but she likes to drink after work. After a few drinks, she feels completely relaxed, as long as she doesn't drink too much and drinks until she is unconscious. Sister Chizuru, you can't drink. Kurosawa Hikaru naturally wouldn't stop her because of her preference, but just remembered something and said it. When a girl comes to visit her aunt, it is best not to drink alcohol, as this can easily lead to problems. No. Ninomiya Chizuru, who was walking next to him, noticed that he was preaching to her and rolled her eyes at him. She is not a child. She has lived for so many years and has a sense of propriety in everything she does. Actually, it was Chizuru who suggested the late-night snack tonight. She wants to eat fried chicken. Igarashi Runa also broke the news at this time. I see. Hearing this, Kurosawa Hikaru reacted thoughtfully. Although Sister Kinhe appears to be a cold, intellectual, and smart sister, she actually likes deep-fried food that is high in calories and oil, and the contrast is very strong. In fact, no one dislikes fried food. Because fried chicken is so addictive, full of color, flavor. If it is spicy, it will be even more incomprehensible. Neon people like to eat fried food, such as tempura, which is even regarded as high-end food. Today's update is 5K words, not too small. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 542. Sitting at the table, the three of them had supper together. Kurosawa, I have good news to tell you. Miss Ichino's online support rate is better than expected. She is currently ranked first, 50,000 votes ahead of the second place. Halfway through the meal, Igarashi Runa suddenly remembered something. So amazing. Kurosawa Hikaru was very surprised to hear this. You know, Yuki's contestant introduction video shows that she is not single. There is a lot of discussion about this matter. I didn't expect it to be like this. Igarashi Runa sighed. In the final analysis, Yuki Ichino's is too beautiful. If she hadn't publicly stated that she had a boyfriend and was dating, she would have won the championship in the Neon National Beauty Contest. What was unexpected was that Yuki Ichino stated that she had a boyfriend, and she was still able to get so many votes. The official has her barefaced photos, and Twitter has her photos. With the mutual streaming, she broke through the siege. The power of beauty is reflected through comparison. In terms of appearance alone, Yuki Ichino's has no rivals in the beauty pageant, and she is so stunning that she outshines everyone else. According to you, is the championship secured? Kurosawa Hikaru also thought about a lot and asked. He hasn't made a move yet, and hasn't been able to find time to shoot a MV for Yuki, edit the MV, and upload it to YouTube to attract traffic. It's not stable yet, but this is just the current stage. With such a high number of votes, even if someone steals in the remaining 3 days, it is certain that they will advance. But it's still a long way to the championship. The next round is the semi-finals, and the situation is likely to be reversed. Igarashi Runa shook her head slightly and expressed her judgment. Her implication was already obvious. You should shoot the MV quickly, so that Miss Ichinose can take advantage of the wind and ride away. Go shoot the MV tomorrow. Kurosawa Hikaru nodded slightly, understanding what she meant. In fact, he didn't need to urge him, he had already decided to find Yuki to shoot the MV tomorrow. The theme of the wedding in the dream is too clear, it is in the hall. It takes 1 day to shoot, and another half day to edit. After checking that everything is correct, you can upload it to YouTube. With the influence of the name 0 Hour, even if Friday is the deadline for the elimination round, posting the video on Thursday is enough to turn the tide. Apple is also urging you to make time and cooperate with the Apple team to record the album. After the matter was settled, Igarashi Runa also reminded. Music albums, to put it bluntly, are products. That's why, in order to avoid mistakes, they are usually made with great care and the production is very complicated. Although Kurosawa Hikaru's piano skills are superb and there will be no mistakes in playing, but even so, at least all the piano pieces should be played and recorded. Where to record? We can record in our office. The recording studio that we spent a lot of money to renovate before can be used. The recording studio of 0 Hour is the best in the industry. Although this cooperation is of great importance, there is no need to move around. It can be done in the office. Then let's record the album on Saturday. Knowing that it would be at the agency instead of going abroad to the headquarters of Apple Music, Kurosawa Hikaru thought about it and decided on the time. Sister Chizuru, as Adeline, you also have a day off on Saturday, why don't you show up together? After saying that, Kurosawa Hikaru did not forget to call out her name. The topic just now involved Yuki, and Ninomiya Chizuru didn't say anything and ate supper in silence. This silence may be because she knows the general situation and doesn't want to say too much to other girls, or it may be because she is jealous. Okay. Faced with this invitation, Ninomiya Chizuru readily agreed. She originally liked piano music, and Kurosawa Hikaru is now known as the god of piano. Being able to watch him record piano music is no different from listening to it live. As for jealousy, she didn't have any thoughts in this regard. Because Yuki Ichinose is going to be a model, and it has long been decided that she will be the heroine of the MV of Zero Time. What's more, she has already got what she wanted, the title of Zero Time's girlfriend. And about the MV shooting, they slept together these 2 nights, and Runa had already given her a heads up in advance, and would go to help shoot together. After talking about work, the 3 of them got together and had a lot of topics to talk about. Especially when the contract is fulfilled and Apple pays the money, how should they spend it? That's 100 billion yen, although they have to share it, but in fact, the 3 people at the dinner table all regard each other as their own. Yuki Ichinose has to prepare for the competition, and her work and rest schedule is very regular. She woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning. In fact, this is also because Gwang Ji didn't have time to chat with her by voice or video last night, and after saying good night, he decisively went to bed. Having said that, although they didn't have a good chat last night, they received good news after waking up early in the morning. Gwang Ji is going to take her to shoot the MV, waiting at home, and will pick her up soon. Bo. Are you shooting a music video? For a dream wedding, you should wear a wedding dress, right? After putting on a simple light makeup in the bathroom, Yuki Ichinose pursed her pink lips, picked up a comb, and began to comb her hair repeatedly, with endless fantasies in her heart. According to the results of her online research, shooting MVS is time-consuming work, usually taking a week or 2 weeks, or even longer. Although it took a long time, she was not worried at all, but was happy. Because filming the MV means that she will spend more time with brother Guang. After struggling like this for a while, she counted the time and went downstairs, came outside the house, and waited in advance. Standing at the gate waiting, her appearance soon attracted the attention of many passers-by. However, she has worked part-time as a model for more than a year, and has had the experience of being slandered and spread rumors. She doesn't care at all about other people's eyes. Not long after, a car suddenly stopped in front of her. However, when Yuki Ichinose saw this car, she frowned. Even if she didn't know anything about cars, she could tell that this car was a super luxury car. Because of the silver and black paint, you can tell at just a glance that it is obviously different from most cars. In addition, this car is very long and large, with smooth and graceful lines, revealing an indescribable handsomeness. The reason why she is unhappy is because she has been beautiful since she was a child and has rich experience of being approached. Naturally, she will inevitably have a rich man driving a valuable car and parked in front of her while walking on the roadside. The experience of trying to strike up a conversation. At this moment, the car window gradually rolled down. What's wrong, so unhappy so early in the morning? Kurosawa Hikaru looked at her frowning expression, a little puzzled. Brother Guang. Yuki Ichinose, who was still thinking about how to refuse, suddenly widened his eyes when he saw the person in the driver's seat. What's happening here? Does this luxury car belong to Brother Guang? She has to shoot a music video today, and Hikari said he would come to pick her up. Shouldn't he be with Miss Igarashi? Boarding. Kurosawa Hikaru decided to let her get in the car first and then talk. The biggest advantage of this Maybach is that except for the front mirror, all other windows have one-way see-through film. In short, people outside cannot see the people inside the car through these windows, but people inside the car can see the outside, and the confidentiality is very high. Upon hearing his request, although Yuki Ichinose didn't understand the situation, she obeyed and hurriedly got in the car. Wow! As he got into the car, Ichinose Yuki was really shocked when he saw the interior of the car. The interior of the car was so beautiful. Fasten your seat belt. Seeing the surprised expression on her face, Kurosawa Hikaru smiled and also reminded her. After she fastened her seat belt, Kurosawa drove away. Brother Guang, why are you here to pick me up? Where is Miss Igarashi? Ichinose Yuki looked at it and felt that the car was too good looking, but he quickly calmed down and said doubtfully. She has to go back to the office to get equipment first, and then meet at the bridal shop later. Before Kurosawa came to pick her up, he went home to pick up a cosmetics set. As for Igarashi Runa, because the SLR he bought was left in the office, he also needed to get it back. In order to save time, the troops were naturally divided into 2 groups. Where did this car come from? Brother Guang, did you buy it? Ichinose Yuki seemed to realize something, and then couldn't help but ask. She also wanted to make a lot of money quickly and buy a super sports car for Brother Guang, but her goal has not been achieved yet. Brother Guang has already driven such a luxury car. Sister Chizuru gave it to me. Kurosawa, who was driving, paused for a few seconds and decided to tell the truth. The car was bought to drive, not to collect. He knew that he would drive this car for a long time to come. After all, the difference between having a car and not having a car is really huge. This matter cannot be hidden. Oh. When Yuki Ichinose learned about this, he lowered his head in frustration and suddenly felt that the car didn't look that good. Buying Brother Guang a sports car and a mansion is her current ideal. She had spent many nights alone, imagining the happy time of buying a sports car, buying a mansion, and spending time with brother Guang. But now, before she can realize her ideal, someone has taken the lead. Thinking of this, she felt almost suffocated and couldn't breathe. She had no advantage over Chizuru Ninomiya. Her only advantage was her young age, and she was evenly matched in terms of beauty. In other aspects, whether it is temperament, clothing, or even figure, background, IQ, and financial resources, she cannot compare. She's already bought me a limousine. When are you going to buy me a sports car? Kurosawa Hikaru saw her visible disappointment and spoke again as he had expected it. Ah! Ichinosuke was stunned when he heard this. Xiaoyuki, you promised to buy me a supercar before. Do you want to go back on your word? Facing her stunned look, Kurosawa Hikaru said seriously. But you already have a car. I have a luxury car, but I don't have a sports car yet. That means, I can also buy you a sports car. If Ichinosuke had some realization, he quickly reacted. Why not? Kurosawa Hikaru asked. You're right, brother Guang, can I ask you a question? Ichinosuke's mind suddenly became active. That's right, brother Guang can have 5 girlfriends, so what's the problem with having 2 cars? Just say it. How much does this car cost? Ichinosuke's idea is very simple. If you want to buy it, then buy something better, more expensive, and better than Miss Ninomiya. 120 million. Kurosawa Hikaru was not surprised to see her regaining her fighting spirit and just said. Xiaoyuki has a very strong character. She will never get depressed when faced with difficulties. At most, she will cheer up after being autistic for a while. 120 million. Hearing the price, Ichinosuke was stunned. In her life, she has never seen even 20 million, let alone over 100 million. Maybe brother Guang is very powerful. By the way, she also bought me a villa for 470 million. In order to make her adapt quickly, Kurosawa also gave strong medicine. Really, Ichinosuke was confused. Isn't Miss Ninomiya too awesome? Not only did he give brother Guang a car, but he also gave him a mansion. Really? Kurosawa nodded. After receiving his affirmation, Ichinosuke fell into silence. 590 million. However, Ichinosuke was not defeated, but thoughtfully after calculating the total value. With so much money, if it were her before, she would definitely be shocked to the point of being speechless and unable to even think about it. But now she still dares to think about it, because she has checked the model's net worth and earning ability. Perhaps the money-making ability of Asian models is not as good as that of Western supermodels. But Miss Igarashi has said that as long as she makes her debut and has 0 Hour and 0 Hour Agency as her backers, she will surely rise. Although she doesn't know how much money she can make, 590 million is not necessarily an unattainable level. Earn 600 million first. After thinking about it, Yuki Ichino secretly made up his mind and set a small goal. Did you make it? While driving, Kurosawa Hikaru glanced sideways at her and found that she no longer looked disappointed on her face, and he breathed a sigh of relief. People living in this world work and make money to enjoy a better life, not to make money for the sake of making money. Once people get rid of the worries of food, clothing, housing, and transportation, money becomes a number. In this case, it's up to you to enjoy it however you want. He would definitely drive the Maybach that Sister Kinzura gave him for enjoyment. Even if he avoided Xiaoyuki every time, he would definitely not be able to hide this matter for the rest of his life. Instead of doing this, it is better to explain this matter clearly as early as possible. This can also stimulate Xiaoyuki and give her more motivation to fight. 590 million, maybe this number sounds scary, but this is Japanese yen. With him as her backer and her role as the heroine in the MV, Xiaoyuki will definitely become a nationally famous artist. In addition, she will also serve as the women's spokesperson for a casual clothing brand. Plus the share, she can earn so much money. Sooner or later. As for asking Xiaoyuki to give away sports cars and luxury houses, he has no guilt at all. Because when Xiaoyuki gives him a gift, he will only double the gift in return. You buy me a sports car, and I'll buy you a yacht. You buy me a mansion, and I'll buy you a sea view villa. Last night, the three of them got together and talked about how to spend the money they earned. His idea was simple, that is, to buy villas all over the country, so that when he travels to various cities, he doesn't have to worry about housing. He also plans to buy a house in places like Hawaii and Okinawa, which are suitable for tourism and have a suitable climate all year round. I also need to buy a set in Hokkaido so that I can go to enjoy the snow in winter and also go skiing. As for cars, he would never have too many, and he just happened to drive them every day. Brother Guang, is there anything you should pay attention to when shooting the MV? You have a strong camera sense. When the time comes, follow my command and we will make a quick decision. A quick victory. Try to finish filming it today, edit the MV and upload it to YouTube tomorrow. So fast? I heard that filming the MV will take at least a week. Other people take a week to shoot the MV because planning takes a lot of time. It would take several days for a team to just discuss how to interpret the meaning of the song. Simply shooting and editing is actually very fast. Kurosawa Hikaru heard this question and answered. He is the main creator of the song, as well as a makeup artist, director, planner, photographer, and post-editor. All kinds of talents are integrated into one, and his ideas are everything. There is no need to discuss it with others, and he directly saves countless worlds. Tokyo's most affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 544. Welcome. Kurosawa Hikari and Ichino's Yuki walked into the bridal shop. 6 staff members stood at the door and greeted them immediately. This bridal shop is one of the best in Tokyo. It has a large area and a large number of employees. Although Neon's service attitude is world famous, the fundamental reason why they are so enthusiastic is that Kurosawa Hikari drives a top luxury car like Maybach, and it is obvious that he is a distinguished guest. Kurosawa Hikari is naturally happy because of their good service attitude, and the staff members are not looking down on him. Wow! It was Yuki Ichino's first time to come to a bridal shop. Before entering the shop, she was already amazed by the wedding dresses in the window. Unlike the common clothing stores on the street, the bridal shop is so beautiful, every wedding dress seems to glow, making people dazzled. In just a blink of an eye, she changed her mind 3 times. This set is too beautiful. This set is too beautiful. This set is too beautiful, right? Yuki Ichino's was really amazed. There is no girl who doesn't like wedding dresses, just like there is no boy who doesn't like luxury cars. This wedding dress is placed very high in the window. Because of the long train design, it is so beautiful that it cannot be described in words. Exquisite craftsmanship, beautiful fabrics, unique design, fashionable style, gorgeous decoration, and elegant style. Beautiful, fairy, gentle, and elegant soft gauze looks very high-end. Do you like it? Kurosawa Hikari was paying attention to her reaction. He found that her eyes were deeply attracted by the wedding dress in the big window that she could see after entering the store, and even her eyes were shining, so he asked. Yeah. Ichino's Yuki nodded subconsciously. This wedding dress is so beautiful that she can't take her eyes off it after taking a look. Can I try this one on? After getting her affirmation, Kurosawa Hikari asked the clerk next to him. I'm sorry, this is Elisab's haute couture. In response to this question, a young and beautiful female clerk paused for a second and apologized decisively. Wedding dresses are different from ordinary clothes. Many expensive styles do not consider the problem of cleaning during the design and production process. This one is like this. It can only be purchased and never accepted for trial wearing. As the treasure of the store, it has been placed in the store for a long time. Of course. However, before she finished speaking, a mature woman in her 30s wearing a suit, shirt, and hip skirt interrupted. Please help me take it out. Kurosawa Hikari noticed her respect and was very friendly. Although he didn't know how much this wedding dress cost because there was no direct price tag, as long as Xiaoyuki liked it, no matter what the price was, it was fine. Please wait. Seeing that he wanted to try it on, the store manager didn't waste any words and took decisive action. He personally walked over and took someone to open the window and took out the dress. Immediately, she sent someone to take Ichino's Yuki to the dressing room to change clothes. Wedding dresses are different from other clothes. Most styles are never worn by the bride herself, and someone must help. While waiting for Xiaoyuki to change the wedding dress, Kurosawa Hikari also took out his mobile phone and looked at it for a few times. Igarashi Runa sent a message, I'm going to find a shooting location and set up the scene. Find a location. When Kurosawa Hikaru saw this message, he understood why Runa-san was not waiting for him in the store. This might be Runa-san's help to him. She didn't want to be a light bulb, or she might not want to see him walking into the bridal shop with other women. Even if she is a god-level wingman, Igarashi Runa is also a human being, and a woman who has fallen in love. Even if she is broad-minded, she will be jealous. I wonder what everyone's reaction will be when they see that Xiaoki's MV is a dream wedding. Kurosawa Hikaru suddenly felt a little uneasy when he realized the possibility of jealousy. Among the 10 piano pieces he has publicly performed so far, although each one is very nice, only 2 of them are romantic piano pieces in terms of the meaning of the music. One is Adelina by the Water and the other is Wedding in a Dream. Perhaps the Wedding in a Dream is sad in terms of the melody, but the word wedding is too important for women. Although he was aware of this problem, he thought about it and couldn't change the song. Because he had said long ago that this song was for Xiaoyuki. This piano piece, as Xiaoyuki's debut song, is undoubtedly the best choice, no one else. As a model, you don't need acting skills or singing skills, but you must carry out the word beauty to the end. His intuition told him that Xiaoyuki wearing a wedding dress is definitely the most beautiful moment. To be more precise, a wedding dress must be the most beautiful dress in the world for a woman, no one else. Mr. Kurosawa, Miss Ichino's has changed into a wedding dress. Not long after, a female clerk came out of the dressing room, walked in front of Kurosawa Hikari, and reminded him. Thank you. Hearing this, Kurosawa Hikari stood up decisively, walked a few steps sideways, and came to the curtain of the dressing room. Not only him, but other clerks also ran over to watch the fun. For some reason, looking at the dressing room with the door curtain closed, Kurosawa Hikari's mood suddenly tensed up a bit, inexplicably nervous, and his heartbeat was fast. For Kurosawa Hikaru, nervousness is an emotion he hasn't felt for a long time. The cheers that seemed to lift the ceiling of the Neon Martial Arts Hall, and the attention of countless fans before the piano recital did not make him nervous at all. Since he obtained the perfect level of archery, his vision, state of mind, experience, vision, and strength have all been enhanced in every sense. The blessing of various skills, not only knowledge, but also experience and even talent, allowed him to face any situation calmly, but at this moment, he was really nervous. Wow! After he took a few deep breaths, the female clerk standing in front of the dressing room grabbed the door curtain and opened it. There was deathly silence, and time seemed to freeze at this moment. Wow! Kurosawa Hikaru's heart suddenly shook, as if he had been hit by something. The scenery in front of me is so beautiful that it cannot be described in words. In fact, Ichino's Yuki was also very nervous. Although there was a mirror in the dressing room, she wanted to know Kurosawa Hikaru's reaction. However, when she saw Kurosawa Hikaru's eyes and heard his exclamation, the tension suddenly dissipated, and instead, happiness overflowed from her heart. Because Brother Guang stood there with a serious expression, but the corners of his mouth were twitching, as if he was holding back a smile. At this moment, all love is clear at a glance. She really felt Brother Guang's love for her, and she was shocked. "Brother Guang, how are you?" Ichino's Yuki was very shy, so she mustered up the courage to speak. "So beautiful." Kurosawa Hikaru didn't know how to express his feelings, and he even felt indescribably moved. Because he is a proficient makeup artist, when he sees a set of clothes and then a person, he can actually imagine what the effect of the clothes will be like on the person. Although this was the case, he was still stunned by Ichino's Yuki's wedding dress. He had a feeling that he would remember this moment for the rest of his life and would never be able to forget it. It was so beautiful, like a fairy falling from the mortal world, and even more so, as if all the lights were eclipsed in front of her. Ichino's Yuki saw that the corners of his mouth were twitching wildly, and he couldn't hide his smile. The corners of his eyes were red, as if he was about to cry, and he also smiled. The gloom that had shrouded her heart for a long time disappeared at this moment. Because she knew that she was the most beautiful in Brother Guang's mind at this moment, and she couldn't pretend to be so moved. At this moment, the shop assistants around him also reacted. "This is so beautiful." Some people were marveling, impressed by Yuki Ichino's beauty. "Is there really such a man in the world?" The store manager was sighing. She was not shocked by Ichino's Yuki's beauty. Although she was stunned for a moment, she was the store manager after all. She had seen many female celebrities wearing wedding dresses and was already used to the world. The fundamental reason that shocked her was Kurosawa Hikaru's reaction. At that moment, love seemed to overflow from his eyes, his expression, and his smile. She has opened this bridal shop for 5 years and has seen countless couples come to the bridal shop together. Some couples will quarrel over whether to buy or rent a wedding dress, and some couples will argue over the style. But the most common thing is that the man doesn't pay much attention to the wedding. When he comes to the store, he just sits and plays with his mobile phone. When he sees his girlfriend trying on the wedding dress, he seems to be used to it and his reaction is dull. She had seen many girls come to try on wedding dresses. The moment the curtains were opened, not a single boy would say wow in surprise. She thought this was the reality, because girls paid more attention to weddings than boys. But she never expected that she would meet someone like Hikaru Kurosawa, who was so amazed by the girl that she said wow and watched intently. That sincere love is clear at a glance. This couple is so perfect for each other, the man is handsome and the woman is beautiful, and they are truly in love. The romantic love visible to the naked eye gave her an unprecedented sense of satisfaction. "Do you like this wedding dress?" Seeing her silly look, Kurosawa walked forward and took her hand. "I like it." "Brother Guang, do you like it?" Yuki Ichino's nodded and asked. "Do you need to say more? Didn't my reaction just now show everything?" Even though Kurosawa Hikaru was very thick-skinned, he could not help but feel ashamed and embarrassed when there were so many female shop assistants watching him. "I want to listen to you." Seeing that he refused to say anything, Ichino's Yuki said coquettishly. "I like it, but what I like is you wearing this wedding dress." Kurosawa Hikaru saw her acting coquettishly and nodded regardless of her embarrassment and nausea. Faced with the woman he loves acting coquettishly while wearing a wedding dress, no man can withstand such lethality. A strong man will have to be soft-hearted, let alone her request is so simple. When Ichino's Yuki heard his love words, her eyes smiled like crescent moons. "How much does this wedding dress cost?" After saying those disgusting words, it was difficult for him to express himself because there were people around him. Kurosawa Hikaru coughed lightly and turned around to look at the store manager on the side. "Mr. Kurosawa, this wedding dress is a high-end model by Elie Saab. The price is $120,000, which is 17 million yen when converted. The female store manager saw that he really wanted to buy it and responded. The price of this wedding dress is too expensive, but I have met a customer who has the strength to buy it. So expensive? Hearing the price, Yuki Ichino's face turned pale and she was at a loss for a moment. The wedding dresses specially placed in the cupboard are expensive to think about, but 17 million is too exaggerated. You look so beautiful in this wedding dress, why is it so expensive? Kurosawa gave her a blank look, not caring at all about such a price. This girl is too young after all. Even clothes that cost less than 100,000 yen are considered to be sky-high prices. Even if her horizons have grown in recent times, after all, she has not officially debuted yet and has not really made any money. It is normal for her to be overwhelmed by 17 million yuan for a piece of clothing. Not to mention her, even a rich woman like Sister Kinhee would probably be shocked by the price. Without the slightest psychological preparation, the only person who can remain calm at such a price is the future of Siphon Jiyuan. Brother Guang, why don't we change our clothes? Ichino's Yuki, who was very happy just now, turned pale and didn't know where to put his arms. It would be terrifying to think about such an expensive wedding dress if she accidentally got it stained and damaged. If you don't change it, this is the way it is. Kurosawa Hikaru shook his head and looked at her deeply. There seemed to be infinite inspiration bursting out in his mind, and his attitude was very determined. Looking at Yuki like this, his experience and knowledge as a pianist, a photographer, and a makeup artist are filled with thoughts. He has a feeling that if Xiao Yuki wears this wedding dress to shoot Dream Wedding, it will definitely cause an uproar. The momentum and influence will probably not be inferior to that of Adelina by the waterside. Not to mention that he had such inspiration, even if he was not in such a state, he would be willing to pay even 17 million US dollars, not to mention 17 million yen, just based on the amazing feeling Xiao Yuki gave him just now. Swipe your card. Before Xiao Yuki could say anything more, Kurosawa Hikaru turned to look at the store manager, high-spirited and heroic. Please wait. The store manager was not surprised to see that he didn't care about such a price. He trotted to the front desk to pick up the POS machine with a bright smile. In terms of specifications and quality, her shop is among the best in Tokyo. The usual guests are either celebrities or rich people. That's why she has a good understanding of rich people. She could tell at a glance that Mr. Kurosawa's car was the latest top-of-the-range Maybach, worth hundreds of millions of yen. To be able to afford a super luxury car of this level, one must have strong financial resources and is not as simple as an ordinary rich man. The most important thing is that this guest is very young from his appearance. Unlike middle-aged people who are scheming and consider cost-effectiveness and profit and loss, and will not consider a wedding dress of 17 million yen at all, young people are a group who will pay for love at all costs. Taking various factors into account, even though this wedding dress was a high-end version, she refused to rent or try it on, and she had rejected many customers. She broke the precedent and decided to let his female companion try it on. She has an intuition that as long as her girlfriend likes it, this customer will definitely buy it, and that's exactly what happened. Wow! Seeing this scene, the female shop assistants around were stunned. Perhaps there has been a saying since ancient times that men who work hard are the most handsome. But in fact, this is not the case. In reality, a man who is willing to spend a lot of money for the woman he loves is the most handsome man in the world. I would like to ask, which woman in this world can resist the charm of a wedding dress worth 17 million yen? The baby was a bit naughty, and even though there were reports of threatened premature labor 1 month ahead of the due date, it seemed like he was just picking a day to be born. After staying in the hospital all night, the child was so skinny that he refused to come out. I will be quite busy these days, so I will try my best to update, please forgive me. I also recommend a book. This is a book written by my brother. The Hard-Working Male God, Hard Work Will Pay Off. Introduction. Coming from the parallel world, Chuyun became a fat man weighing more than 200 kilograms. When everyone was not optimistic about it, Chuyun began to work hard to keep fit and lose weight. His efforts would be rewarded if he was recognized by others. Breaking doubts again and again and shocking people again and again. Many years later, when Chuyun became famous and became the male god in the hearts of countless people, he said in an interview, "Everything I do depends on my hard work." This is by no means a dog-licking article. Dog-licking will lead to a bad death. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 546. When men buy things, they always pay attention to efficiency and buy what they like. It is rare that they go shopping for a long time without buying a single product. After swiping the card to pay, Yuki Ichinose took off her wedding dress first. Even though she is a model and a hot girl, she has long been accustomed to wearing strange clothes on the streets and receiving strange looks from everyone, but her wedding dress is different. After packing, Kurosawa Hikaru did not stop at the bridal shop. Instead, he contacted Igarashi Runa and set off. When shooting a wedding theme MV, the venue is usually relatively fixed. Either in a church or a hotel, as long as you have enough imagination, many venues are suitable. The venue chosen by Igarashi Runa was the Peninsula Hotel in Tokyo, and the Grand Banquet Hall was directly reserved. Kurosawa Hikaru drove to the Peninsula Hotel in Tokyo and parked the car. As soon as he got out of the car, Igarashi Runa came up to him immediately and explained the situation. This hotel has an experienced and professional wedding planning team, but the preparation time is still too short. It takes another 2 hours to decorate the venue. She was a little surprised. Kurosawa Hikaru came too early. Logically speaking, the wedding dress shop she recommended includes all wedding dress brands in the world. There are too many products, and it should take a lot of time to choose. Don't be in a hurry. As long as the location is suitable, the photo shoot will be done soon. I'll just use this time to put on my makeup. Kurosawa Hikaru opened the trunk and took out a gift box more than 2 meters long, which contained a complete set of wedding dresses. In terms of shooting, the biggest advantage of indoor shooting compared to outdoor shooting is that it can be turned on 24 hours a day. Because indoors, unless you are recording outdoor scenes, you cannot tell the time. In short, as long as the venue is well arranged and communication is in place, he can shoot until 4 a.m. After deciding the matter, they took the elevator and officially entered the hotel. Along the way, Yuki Ichinose and Runa Igarashi also took their makeup cases and camera bags respectively. Their trip could be described as traveling lightly, with not many staff, or even none. This has something to do with the photography style. Kurosawa's proficient photography is terrifying. In addition, as a director, planner, photographer, makeup artist, set designer, song creator, editor, investor, and other multiple identities, he has absolute say. To put it bluntly, he alone has the final say on how this MV should be made. Their actions were not very conspicuous in the huge hotel, and they entered the room not long after. The venue is special, and the hotel does not have a dedicated dressing room, but there are many room types, and naturally there are rooms equipped with dressing tables. I'm going to supervise the venue. Call me if you need anything. Helping move things to the room, Igarashi Runa left with a camera bag without leaving a word, without staying to be a light bulb. As she left, Kurosawa Hikaru also began to take out the items in the makeup box one by one to prepare. Let's put on the wedding dress first. After putting things away one by one in a convenient way, Kurosawa Hikaru said, "Do you want to wear it now?" Ichinose Yuki was stunned when he heard this. The styles of wedding dresses are quite special. They are different from ordinary clothes. Wearing a wedding dress makes it easier to put on makeup. Kurosawa Hikaru nodded slightly and explained. Usually, the bride puts on her wedding dress first and then puts on her makeup. Because she has to dress up for the wedding, her makeup is not just about her face, but also her hairstyle. How to wear it? Realizing this situation, Ichino's Yuki's face became a little hot. The design of the wedding dress basically requires help from others to put it on. Especially her wedding dress. When she was in the wedding dress store just now, two clerks helped her put it on. Shall I help you put it on, or do you want Ms. Runa to put it on for you? Kurosawa Hikaru saw her shy reaction when she noticed something was wrong, and smiled happily. Then forget it. Ichino's Yuki was shocked when he heard this and shook his head quickly. She has always been thoughtful, and she is well aware of the relationship between Brother Guang and Miss Igarashi. When she went to the bridal shop in the morning, she couldn't see Miss Igarashi, so she had a vague feeling that she was most likely jealous. That's why it was too much for her to ask Miss Igarashi to help her put on her wedding dress just thinking about it. Then let's get started. Kurosawa Hikaru was not surprised when he saw her reaction. He walked to the bedside and opened a gift box containing a complete set of wedding dresses. There were also some small gift boxes for items such as veils. Looking at the gorgeous wedding dress in the gift box, his mood was very subtle, filled with emotion and expectation, and he was eager to try it out. Maybe today is not a real wedding, but just thinking about helping Xiao Yuki put on a wedding dress feels like a beautiful thing. As he opened the gift box, while his back was turned to her, Yuki Ichino's hesitated, mustered up the courage, and reached out to pull off the sling on his shoulder. Her beady shoulders, loose sling, and sexy collarbone look more and more alluring. Putting on her wedding dress again, Ichino's Yuki sat in front of the dressing table. Hikaru Kurosawa also did her makeup, starting with her hairstyle. Because he had seen it once just now, although he still thought it was extremely beautiful, he would not be stunned again after being amazed once. Kurosawa enjoyed the feeling of putting on Yuki's wedding dress and doing her hair and makeup. A proficient makeup artist, he has a high level of knowledge about makeup and styling. Perhaps Neon's makeup technique is known as one of the four great magics in Asia. But in fact, even the strongest makeup artist cannot turn a pig into Diao Chan, but PS can be tried. Just like photography, the core requirement is beauty or beautiful scenery, and the same is true for makeup. The better the foundation, the more you can fully display the technology. On the other side, the grand banquet hall of the Peninsula Hotel in Tokyo. Ms. Igarashi, the fantasy fairyland wedding has been arranged, please check it. Thank you for your hard work. Igarashi Runa followed their footsteps, observed the details of each place one by one, and was very satisfied with the result. Although time was short, money makes the world go round. She sent the list of venues provided by the wedding company to Kurosawa Hikaru for review. After selecting the style, she invited 2 wedding teams, a total of 3 wedding teams to work together. That's how the venue was arranged in just 3 hours. This was also related to her being there to supervise the whole process. After all, she paid a high price, and as a buyer, she was still watching on the scene, so no one dared to be lazy. After the greetings, she settled the bills for the 3 wedding teams and successfully sent them out. I don't know how he is preparing. Left alone in the grand banquet hall, Igarashi Runa looked around the gorgeous venue layout, took out her mobile phone and sent a message, explaining that the venue was arranged and all preparations were made. She didn't plan to go to the room to take a look. As a professional wingman, she was a person with good eyesight, and she would not do such boring things. I'm ready, I'll go there right away. Soon, she received a reply from Kurosawa Hikaru. After getting this reply, she didn't plan to go there, but walked to the side to pick up the camera bag, put it on the empty table next to it, and took out the equipment one by one. After making all kinds of preparations, she waited, looking at the door of the grand banquet hall from time to time. There was a red carpet there, and even high heels would not make any sound when walking on it. Wow! Not long after, she heard a noise coming from outside the banquet hall, which was a voice of exclamation. "Are you here?" Noticing the noise, Igarashi Runa put her phone back in her pocket and looked in the direction of the sound. The next moment, two figures appeared at the gate. The leader, with golden silk and light hair, could not hide her beautiful face. The moment she appeared, Igarashi Runa's pupils suddenly shrank, and she was stunned on the spot as if struck by lightning. As a gold medal agent, she has been in the entertainment industry for many years and has seen too many handsome men and beautiful women. In addition, she is a beauty herself, and she is also surrounded by Ninomiya Chizuru, a super beauty who has been beautiful since childhood. That's why her immunity and threshold to beauty are very high. But at this moment, she was still deeply amazed when she saw Ichino's Yuki appear. "Isn't this makeup too beautiful?" Igarashi Runa looked at Yuki Ichino's gorgeous face and was shocked by her stunning beauty. In fact, she knew that Yuki Ichino's was very beautiful. Looking at the entire entertainment industry, her appearance alone was enough to surpass most female stars. Having said that, Yuki Ichino's usually wears light makeup without makeup. In terms of the first impression, she is not as good as Chizuru Ninomiya and Mirai Shifunjayuan. Because her nose is high, her eyes are deep, her facial features have the three-dimensional sense of Westerners, and the soft beauty of Orientals, such appearance features are more suitable for heavy makeup than light makeup. Once she puts on heavy makeup, her beautiful eyes, delicate and three-dimensional facial features, and beautiful blonde hair will completely burst out with energy and amaze everything. This is the fundamental reason why Yuki Ichino's became popular when she first posted a photo on the internet. Just like now, when she puts on heavy makeup, the show begins. That beauty cannot be described in words, it's like a fairy falling into the mortal world, so beautiful that it's beyond description, as if she is an angel who accidentally ate fireworks on Earth. It's just as I thought, she will definitely be popular. Although she was amazed, Igarashi Runa did not feel frustrated. After the strong shock, she was in a very hot mood. Why did she become an agent instead of other professions? This is because of her personality, ideals, and hobbies. She likes to take care of others and make people better. Just like when she met Chizuru when she was a child, even though Uncle Ninomiya and Aunt Ninomiya had treated her very badly, and she insisted on being friends with Chizuru. She knows her mediocrity. Maybe in Chizuru's eyes, she is a character who gets excited for 3 minutes, but in fact, this is because she has a strong ability to examine herself. Whether it is being an actor, a singer, or a dancer, she gave up after studying for a period of time, because she can see her upper limit at a glance. She enjoys the feeling of packaging a talented and potential person better, promoting the charm of others, making it public, and letting the whole world know. She admires the strong, she likes to be with geniuses and see their stories with her own eyes. Genius refers to a person with extraordinary talent. This word is not only applicable to piano geniuses, but also to appearance. At this moment, she can visibly feel the terrifying potential contained in Yuki Ichino's beauty. With this image and this beauty, even if the photographer is a novice, he can capture the beauty of the world with just a casual shot. What's more, today's photographer is Kurosawa Hikaru. This MV may be more popular than Adelina by the waterside. Igarashi Runa's intuition is screaming. She has a feeling that this shooting may shock the whole world. The piano piece Dream Wedding has been fermented for so many days and has long been famous all over the world. And now, Yuki Ichino's is the heroine of the MV of this song, which will definitely make Dream Wedding more powerful and soar to the sky. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 547. Call it a day. At 3 p.m., Kurosawa Hikaru finished the last shot and breathed a sigh of relief. Unlike Ninomiya Chizuru, who had never been a model and had no shooting experience, Ichino's Yuki was very sensitive to other people's sight and had a strong sense of the camera. Coupled with the clear theme, the shooting of the MV went very smoothly. In addition, the venue this time was indoors, so there was no need to wait for the sun to set. In order to achieve the effect of time difference, the shooting was almost the whole process. All Kurosawa Hikaru had to do was to find the angle and give some instructions on the posture requirements. In just over an hour, the shooting was over and a lot of material was recorded. So fast. As the only shooting assistant, Igarashi Runa, who helped with lighting and fill-in, was stunned when she heard this. She knew that Kurosawa Hikaru's photography skills were very strong, but this was too fast, wasn't it? With a single theme, it will be faster to shoot. Kurosawa Hikaru raised the SLR camera in his hand and nodded slightly. What should we do next? Ichino's Yuki was a little surprised. She didn't even feel hot in this wedding dress, although this was related to the air conditioning in the banquet hall. But the shooting time of 1.5 hours was too short, not even as long as her makeup time. You know, it took her more than 2 hours to change her wedding dress, do her hair, put on makeup, and organize her clothes. Change clothes, remove makeup, and go back to the agency to edit the material into an MV. If everything goes well, the MV can be released tonight. Kurosawa Hikaru thought for a while and said. Originally, according to his idea, he would shoot until late today and edit the MV tomorrow morning, but the shooting progress was much faster than he expected. Release it tonight. Igarashi Runa was stunned. This is the MV of a song, not news, and speed is important. Even for the popular short videos now, it is rare to shoot and release them on the same day. After all, post-editing and planning considerations are very important. Can't it be released tonight? Do you have to announce it one day in advance? Kurosawa Hikaru saw her reaction and mistakenly thought that it was not in line with the arrangement, so he asked. That's not the case. Even if you don't release a preview, if you suddenly release a video, fans will only be surprised. Igarashi Runa shook her head. Fans are very tolerant of idols. Even if idols make mistakes, they will help to clean up the mess, not to mention that idols have not made any mistakes, and have taken some actions and made some progress. Let's go, back to the office. After getting her affirmation, Kurosawa Hikaru made a prompt decision and decided to go back and edit it. He has a skill, which is entry-level computer audio editing. Although the level is entry-level, the effect is very powerful, and it is a permanent skill that he has already mastered. During the shooting process, he also added the editor's considerations and perspective cognition, taking into account the effect of the finished photography. In short, he should not need to spend much effort to make the MV. He said so. Ichino's Yuki and Igarashi Runa looked at each other and could only follow his meaning. Girls usually don't have any opinions, especially in front of the people they like. After deciding on this, Kurosawa Hikaru took Yuki back to the room to change clothes. As for Igarashi Runa, she naturally communicated with the hotel to explain that the venue was used up and she had to leave. Not long after, the two cars drove out of the underground parking lot of the Peninsula Tokyo Hotel. However, they did not go to the agency immediately. Kurosawa Hikaru first drove home and left the car at home. The car was too conspicuous. If it drove to the agency, anyone who was not a fool could guess that the owner of the car was not simple and associated it with Lingxi. Kurosawa Hikaru chose to debut with a mask in order to keep his private life from being disturbed. He did not want to be exposed unless necessary. In addition, he also left the makeup box and wedding dress at home. Kurosawa Hikaru originally wanted Xiaoyuki to take this wedding dress home. Although it was a prop costume for filming, it was actually a gift. If it was properly kept, it could be used for weddings in the future. However, Xiaoyuki did not dare to bring the wedding dress home. She felt it was too ostentatious. After this matter was settled, they took Igarashi Runa's car and went to the agency. At 6 p.m., Lingshi and Igarashi Runa's official Twitter simultaneously updated a dynamic, that is, at 0 o'clock tonight, the MV of Dream Wedding will be released. As soon as this trailer came out, it immediately set off the internet, and all major communities were discussing it. The number of tweets about the 0-hour MV also climbed at an extremely terrifying speed, and the discussion was extremely high. In just half an hour, the tweets related to 0-hour ranked first in the tweets, and were far ahead with a terrifying popularity. Perhaps Dream Wedding has been played countless times by many people to this day, and it is not a new song. But a song without an MV is incomplete, because if you want people to fully appreciate the charm of a song, the song alone is not enough. What's more, piano music is different from pop songs that have lyrics, and requires a certain degree of music appreciation ability, so many fans and listeners have not been able to fully appreciate the charm of this piano music. Finally, there is a new MV. See you at 0 o'clock tonight. Adline, Adline. Those who said that Dream Wedding was just so before, you will understand how great this piano music is when you see the MV. Countdown 5:59. Regarding the 10 piano pieces from 0 Hour, since they were performed publicly, there has been a lot of quarrels on the internet every day about which one is better and which one is worse. Almost every piano song has a considerable number of fans who are die-hard fans. Dream Wedding is very controversial, because to fully appreciate the charm of this song requires a certain degree of appreciation. Among the huge fan base, at least 60% of fans think this is a romantic love song. There are also 20% of fans who know that this song is in the key of D minor, which is usually used to express sad and strong emotions, and they can taste the infinite charm in it. This is not a romantic love song at all, but an expression of unrequited love. As for the last 20% of fans, it doesn't matter what the theme is, as long as it sounds good. In just 1 hour, people who paid attention to the MV released at 0 Hour came from all over Neon and even overseas countries. In 0 Hour agency, after the trailer was released, Igarashi Runa also cooked dinner herself. At 7 o'clock in the evening, the three of them were sitting in front of the lounge on the third floor and eating together. "Brother Guang, do we really want to release this MV?" Yuki Ichinose was eating and playing with her mobile phone when she suddenly raised her head. "Why not send it? Didn't you see the finished product just now? The effect is very good." Kurosawa Hikaru was flanked by them and was not playing with his mobile phone. He was a little confused when he heard this. "What's the situation? Wasn't Xiao Yuki still ambitious just now? Why did you suddenly change your mind? Look at everyone's comments." In response to this question, Yuki Ichinose hesitated and handed the phone to him. Kurosawa Hikaru took one look and understood why she had chickened out. "I can see Miss Adelina again, he. The wedding in the dream, since it's a wedding, you shouldn't be able to see Miss Adelina in a wedding dress, right? 0 Hour has not taken any action recently. Could it be that he is getting married to Miss Adelina? Is it a live recording of the wedding?" Judging from the number of comments and likes, almost everyone thinks that the heroine of this MV is still Miss Adelina, and they are looking forward to it. Miss Ichinose, you don't need to pay attention to those comments. You are Kurosawa's designated MV heroine. There will be many MVs for you to shoot in the future. This step must be taken sooner or later. At this moment, Igarashi Runa spoke. As a professional agent, she has been in the industry for many years. In fact, when she saw the phenomenal influence caused by Adelina, she guessed that this day would come. You know, although many fans are disgusted with things in idol relationships, this is not absolute. Fans actually like to chat about CP and on-screen couples. Once they decide that a celebrity couple is a good match, they will like them infinitely. The theme of this MV involves weddings, and Adelina is the public girlfriend of 0 Hour Master. Fans will subconsciously think that it is normal for the heroine of this MV to be Adelina. But this is not the case. The heroine was replaced by a girl that fans did not know, and she was also a very beautiful girl. Once this MV is released, it is destined to cause an uproar and trigger horrific public opinion. But Chizuru doesn't want to be an artist, and she can't always be in front of the stage. Sooner or later, Ms. Ichinose will take over. Ichinose Yuki choked when he heard this and stopped talking. Zuyu was in front. After she discovered that the fans were looking forward to Adelina's appearance, she felt an unprecedented terrible pressure, which made her feel uneasy and breathless. She was suddenly scared, worried that she would disappoint Brother Guang's fans. However, she was also afraid that if she continued to retreat, she would disappoint Brother Guang. Perhaps today's MV shooting progressed very quickly and did not waste too much time and energy, but this is also the result of Brother Guang taking time out of his busy schedule. Don't be afraid, your performance is so good, you will never let the fans down. Kurosawa Hikaru saw through her thoughts and encouraged her. Yes, your performance is outstanding. Didn't we see it together just now? And it's useless for you to regret it now. The trailer has been sent out. If you don't release the MV tonight, you will definitely be besieged by fans at midnight. He scolded him for not keeping his word, even Yan Shang. Seeing him coaxing, Igarashi Runa was also scaremongering from the sidelines. On Neon Quilt, it is a very terrifying phenomenon of internet violence. Ichinose Yuki saw them comforting themselves in different ways. Although they were in a dilemma, they forced themselves to calm down. Although she felt that what Ms. Igarashi said was completely exaggerated, she was also aware of the situation. Yes, the notice has been sent out, and the current situation seems to be such that it has to be launched. If the MV is not released when the time comes, even if Brother Guang will not be popular among fans, fans will definitely be disappointed. This result was something she didn't want to see anyway. She didn't want her desertion to put a stain on Brother Guang's glorious career. After settling the matter, they continued to eat. During the chat, the atmosphere became much more relaxed. However, as time goes by, the distance to 0 o'clock is getting closer and closer, and the atmosphere is gradually becoming more solemn. When the time changed again at 23:59 and the time returned to 0, the MV for Dream Wedding was also released on time on YouTube according to the time point. 2 more are sent. Giving birth is really tiring, I've been busy for so many days, and I'm finally able to relax. I'm very sorry to have kept you waiting for so long. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 548. 0 o'clock in the morning, this time is already late at night for many office workers. However, on this day, looking across the country, there is always a light on in every house. Because this is the time to release a new MV at odd hours, maybe Dream Wedding is not a new song, but even so, there are still countless fans flocking to it and wanting to listen to it as soon as possible. In a house on the Izu Peninsula in Shizuoka Prefecture, 2 girls sat around a computer. Click. Just then, the toilet door was opened. Ka-iking, come quickly. Hearing the commotion, a girl quickly greeted him. Don't worry, I'm keeping an eye on the time. Nanami Ayaharu urged this and said with a smile. Ling Shi is a well-known piano master. Especially after his first performance, his 10 piano songs shocked the world. Even those who were not interested in piano music before will be fascinated by his music once they hear it. What's more, girls in Neon attach great importance to being gregarious. If most people like something and you don't like it, then you don't fit in with the crowd. In this social atmosphere, if someone says that they don't like 0 hour, they will definitely be ridiculed and isolated. After that, she quickly came to the computer and sat down with everyone. Maybe the schedule was rushed this time, but 0 Hour's popularity was so high that YouTube gave him the green light to premiere. The countdown has begun. Just then, someone shouted. Immediately afterwards, the three girls closed their mouths in tacit agreement. The numbers on the computer screen are counting down from 59 seconds. 1 minute passed in the blink of an eye. Finally, the picture on the screen changed, and the speakers on both sides began to play the sound of the piano. The moment the prelude sounded, the soul seemed to be deeply attracted. The three of them were pulled into the ocean of music in just an instant. The prelude of the MV is a beam of light shining on the piano in a dark scene. Ling Shi was sitting in front of the grand piano in a tuxedo, and the beautiful melody flowed from his fingers, which was extremely charming. That beautiful melody seems to be washing people's soul. It sounds better, is it because it was specially recorded, not the live version? Listening to the music that sounded like nature, the three girls felt goosebumps all over their bodies, and they all had the same idea. Very few people have been to the 0 Hour Master site, after all, the number of tickets is limited. But even so, it does not prevent everyone from listening to it through online live broadcast and recording. Even if they had never studied music, they felt very intuitively at this moment that Dream Wedding sounded even better this time than before. Before they could figure it out, the picture on the screen changed. A man is walking, and in front of him is a door. But in just a few steps, he pushed open the door with both hands without any further hesitation. When the door is pushed open, a rich, bright, and gorgeous scenery comes into view. This is the wedding scene, filled with all kinds of flowers and exquisite and delicate decorations. What is striking is that at the end of the red carpet, a figure stands. She was wearing a wedding dress, and under the veil as thin as cicada wings, there were long golden hair with clear strands like waves. The beautiful back arouses people's infinite reverie in just a moment. Blonde. Who is she? Where's Miss Adelina? The moment all fans saw that figure, although they were attracted, they realized one thing: this person was definitely not Adelina. No matter the hair color or height, they are completely wrong. This scene can arouse the doubts of all fans. At the same time, the person who pushed open the wedding door looked into the distance for a few seconds, then took his right foot and started walking forward. 1 step, 2 steps, the distance is getting closer and closer. The invisible hero starts running, as if he wants to get to the bride's side as quickly as possible. There was no obstruction along the way. There was not a single guest in this wedding hall, which was empty and deserted. Before the protagonist could get closer, the background seemed to have noticed the movement, its body swayed, and it looked sideways. When she turned her head, all the viewers in front of the screen finally got a glimpse of her true appearance. Those beautiful green eyes seemed to be filled with stars, dazzling and bright, even more beautiful than gems. That absolutely beautiful face is like an elf that accidentally swallowed the fireworks of the world. It is so beautiful that it cannot be described in words. Just one glance, and all the viewers were stunned. Before anyone could recover, the blonde bride saw the protagonist, and like spring melting snow, a smile appeared on her charming face. This smile is sweet and warm, like a ray of sunshine breaking through the darkness, melting ice and snow, and cleansing the soul. Then, she no longer stood at the end of the red carpet, but turned around and ran towards the protagonist. The story of the MV begins, telling the story of the song. This scene immediately stunned countless fans. The dissatisfaction and doubts caused by the fact that the heroine was not Adelina disappeared, making people involuntarily immersed in it. However, in this house, the three girls in front of the computer had a different reaction from the majority of fans, and fell into dead silence. The two best friends looked unbelievable and couldn't help turning their heads to look at Nanami Ayaharu. Although they were separated by a screen and made up, Ichino's Yuki became more beautiful, but they still recognized her after seeing her face. The blonde bride in the MV was Yuki Ichino's, Kurosawa Hikaru's girlfriend. Nanami Ayaharu's expression froze on the spot, as if she had lost her soul. How could it be her? This is impossible. How could she be so beautiful? Nanami Ayaharu was shocked, and a huge wave of waves was set off in her heart, and she couldn't calm down at all. She only felt that her ears were deaf, her heart was buzzing, and the sound of the piano like the sound of nature disappeared at this moment. Unlike the feeling of face-to-face at the beginning, Ichino's Yuki on the screen at this moment was so beautiful that she was dwarfed by her, like the fluorescence of rotten grass against the bright moon in the sky. Looking at her smile, looking at her beauty that was beautiful enough to amaze the time, something in Nanami Ayana's heart seemed to be shattered by something. That was hope, shattered into slag. In fact, even if Kurosawa said to her face that he was not interested in her, she still had a fluke. She had not given up yet, she still wanted to wait, she believed that Kurosawa Hikaru would change his mind sooner or later, and when he was tired of walking in the big city of Tokyo, he would suddenly look back and see her. But at this moment, she felt very clearly how terrifying Ichino's Yuki's beauty and charm were. Ichino's Yuki was like a mountain, standing in front of her, daunting. Competing with her for a man, what a joke, is there anyone in this world who can compete with her? In the bedroom of a luxurious villa in Tokyo, Ninomiya Chizuru, who had taken a bath long ago and put on a nightgown, sat in front of the computer with a graceful and sexy figure. This smile is really lethal. After coming back to her senses from the smile that Ichino's Yuki looked back at her, Ninomiya Chizuru was silent for a long time and couldn't help talking to herself. Even though she was a woman, she was also amazed by this smile. Wedding. After being distracted, Ninomiya Chizuru looked down again and saw the title of the song, thinking about it. Kurosawa once said that he would marry her and marry her. I don't know if this is true or false. According to her speculation, Kurosawa's wife should be Shifunji Mirai. Miss Ichino's smile is too foul. Miki Shiraha sat on the bed, with her back against the wall, holding a tablet. Wedding. After sighing, she looked at the MV of the song, thinking of the theme, and her mood was erratic. No girl doesn't like a romantic wedding, although she is still young and it should be a very distant thing. But at this moment, influenced by the MV, she couldn't help but fantasize. Will the senior hold a wedding with me? Suddenly, a thought came to my mind. It's so beautiful, let's go to sleep. In a luxury apartment in downtown Tokyo, Shifunji Mirai watched the MV of the song, put her phone aside decisively, pulled the quilt and lay down. Although it seemed free and easy, her mood was hard to calm down. Because Ichino's Yuki in the MV was so beautiful that she felt an inexplicable pressure. As the MV was broadcast live, after a song ended, the video comment area of YouTube and Twitter directly set off a big earthquake. Wow, I cried. So this song is about a sad and beautiful love, the sadness of not being able to get what you want, you can only hold a wedding with her in your dreams, it's too sad. Music really makes people feel that their souls are baptized. Ah, every key he pressed seems to be tapping on my heart. This is so good, the tone is delicate, the weight is just right, and the layers are clear. It's just enjoyable. The wedding in the dream played by Master Zero this time feels better than the live performance, full of infinite emotions. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Who is this blonde bride? Too beautiful, isn't she? Is this the boyfriend's perspective? When she smiled, I fell in love. Mom, I'm married. Although she's not Miss Adeline, she's also very beautiful. Does anyone know what the relationship between the blonde bride and Master Zero is? The blonde bride is Yuki Ichino's, a model. Countless people were amazed by this piano piece, the story of the MV, and the stunning beauty of the heroine in the MV. Unlike the live version, because of the release of the new MV, Kurosawa Hikaru's piano skills were improved to perfection during this period, and the reinterpretation of Kurosawa Hikaru amazed everything. This night can be described as a carnival night. All fans were impressed by the superb piano skills of Master Zero. All fans were overwhelmed by the beauty of the blonde bride.